That's all. 602-977-1900. And now on your ESPN station in Phoenix, ESPN 620, Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B.
Well, Jacoby is a no-show at OTAs with the Cardinals, D-backs, and Giants downtown tonight at the Yard at Game 7 in the NHL playoffs, and the Western Conference Finals in the NBA begin tonight. Welcome in, everybody. Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B. Hanging out today, ESPN 620, 98.7 FM HD-2, also on the Arizona Sports app. Roc in traffic. He'll get here when he can. I am joined on the microphone by the one, the only, the person who we could not do this show unless he is dialed in constantly, which he is. Oh, wait a minute. I forgot your name. What's your name?
Jimmy B, we can't do the show without you. You know that.
Yeah, it's Matt Lazarus, everybody. Doing great, kid. Everything's good. So let us begin. I don't think this shocked anybody that Jacoby Brissett was going to be a no-show at OTAs. Look, he's already said, I'm holding out for starting QB money, and that hasn't been worked out yet. I'm not surprised at this. It just means more of an opportunity to Carson Beck show what he can do.
Yeah, I mean, he's not getting starting quarterback money, so
I
he
agree.
can hold out as long as he wants.
Yeah.
And I think the longer he holds out, the better, because like you and like every single Cardinals fan, they want to see Carson Beck play. And I'm sure the organization wants to see him play because they need to know if they need to be taking another quarterback next year. So might as well keep Brissett on the sidelines, in my opinion, at least.
Look, I liked Carson Beck. I thought where they selected him in the third round was a great spot. And I do not view it as a wasted pick whatsoever, because I just go back and I looked at some tape of a couple of his games, including the Fiesta Bowl game, where he took his team, the Miami Hurricanes, right down the field, and then he scored what proved to be the game-winning touchdown. So, look, the guy's got game. We know he's got game. Did he run off the tracks a little bit? Yeah, maybe. But I think he's righted that ship, to be honest with you. And I just want to see what he can do. I do not want to be in a situation where I'm sitting here looking at Jacoby Brissett and thinking, okay, the guy's a quality backup. I am not going to take that away from him whatsoever. He is a quality backup QB in the NFL, but he's not a full-time starter. And people will say, well, look what he did last year. Well, what did he do? Well, he came in and look how better the offense. Big freaking deal. The offense looked good. How many games did he win? One.
Jinx.
One
game.
That's it.
He looked good in that game. He had other glimpses where they looked okay. The offense wasn't terrible, but at the end of the day, you look at wins and losses.
That's it.
He lost a lot.
Yeah.
He won a little.
Yes.
And I think with Carson Beck, you can't quite compare them to one another, but I like to think of it a little bit like what happened with Bo Nix. Now, Bo Nix went 5th overall. Carson Beck was the first pick of the 3rd round.
Right.
So there's a little bit of difference in talent there. But look at how much all those years of college football experience helped out Bo Nix right away in the NFL.
That's a great point.
So you're trying to hope that it plays out similarly where Carson Beck, because he played 6 full seasons of college football, maybe he has a little bit more experience. He'll have an easier time registering the playbook, and maybe he'll fit in better. It'll be a bit more of a seamless transition to the NFL. But
look, I just want to see a few wins. And since it appears to me anyway that the Cardinals are the slump busters for almost every NFL team this season, those wins are going to be far and few between. You got a brand new coaching staff, new QBs, new players coming in. You're hoping that Jeremiah Love will pop in his rookie year, something Marvin Harrison Jr. has not done, and he hasn't done it yet. So if he doesn't pop in his 3rd year, now you got a problem.
Yeah, I think Marvin Harrison needs to take a gigantic leap forward.
Agreed.
But we saw what Michael Wilson did.
Yep.
You obviously are going to have that safety blanket in Trey McBride, which should help Brissett or Carson Beck. And like you just said, you drafted Jeremiah Love with the 3rd pick in the draft. So if there's any consolation to that, it's well, you can hand the ball to him 30 times a game, especially for the $60 million you gave him as a rookie.
Mm-hmm.
So I think there's a lot of factors there on that offense that can help a guy like Beck, or if it is Brissett, at least win a few more games this year. But like you said, that schedule is a gauntlet between the division games we play. And for a last place schedule, I don't know how it ended up like this. But we were joking about it on Friday. There's a legitimate chance that they don't have an on-the-paper win until week 15.
I know.
And that could be pretty scary for LaFleur in his first year.
Man, oh, man, oh, man. Okay, so baseball tonight downtown. Diamondbacks entertain the Giants. I think, Laz, we called it a fire sale because weren't they unloading? I think Roc mentioned last week the Giants were trying to load $600 million, something like that.
Yeah, all of a sudden it's a fire sale. But 7 months ago, they were buyers. I mean, you trade for Rafael Devers, has not panned out. He doesn't look like himself. You hire a college baseball coach who so far has not fit in whatsoever. And you paid Willie Adames from the Brewers $250 million.
Mm-hmm.
So you were buyers a year and a half ago. Now you're selling everyone. It doesn't make sense. Maybe it's the division they play in. Maybe it's Buster Posey and management, and they're saying, we don't like the way this is going. But they don't have a lot of pitching, and they have a lot of old pitchers like Robbie Ray, who they're paying millions to. So maybe they're just trying to clear some cap space and rebuild a little bit. But within 1 year, you can't go from heavy buyers to full-on sellers like that. And something's wrong with that organization, 100%.
Oh, you're not kidding. You're not kidding. So at any rate, it is Robbie Ray, by the way, who's on the mound tonight for the Giants. So would you try to cut a deal and try to get Robbie Ray back? Once again, say we get into late June and you're right in the hunt for a wild card spot?
It couldn't hurt because I don't think you're going to have to give up too much of the farm or anyone for a guy like that. But the reason you wouldn't have to give up too much of the farm is because they're going to expect you to take on a lot of that money, especially if they're trying to sell. If we have to take on any of that money, it's a no-go. Because that's like, for example, it's a different position, but with Nolan Arenado, the only reason we were willing to take on a player of that age with that contract is because we're not paying much of it.
Right.
So if you're going to say, hey, take Robbie Ray, who's closer to 40 than 30, and he take his $40 million, I think then it's off the table.
Hey, Jamie Moyer had great success when he was 40.
Yeah, there's a big difference between Moyer and Robbie Ray.
Yeah.
But he did like it in Arizona. He always pitched well as a D-back, and he hasn't quite been the same since he left there.
There you go. The Western Conference Finals in the NBA begins tonight. Quite frankly, I cannot wait. The winner of this series will be the NBA champion. Yes, I already said that. It is San Antonio and OKC. Both of these teams are miles above other teams in the NBA, especially in the Eastern Conference. I cannot wait for this series to begin. Matt, we were discussing the line tonight. I 6.5. Is it still at 6.5?
6.5, barely touching -200 on the money line.
Wow.
That's got to be the lowest favorite that OKC has been, not only all playoffs, but probably in a few months. And I hate to say it, Jimmy B, there's a good chance I bet it. And because I bet it, it's probably going to not hit. So maybe take the Spurs tonight if you're out there and you want to make some money.
Are you not on a good streak is what you're telling me right now?
Between what happened at the PGA this weekend,
yeah,
lost on another horse. I was telling you the Kentucky Derby wiped me clean. Yeah. Same thing happened on Saturday. Lost all my money on those horses. Haven't been able to pick a hockey game right. Maybe tonight is the night the page turns, the tide turns, because I love the Thunder at that line. Game 1 in OKC. And I was just telling you about this. The way that the team shows chemistry and the way they all get along together.
Yes.
With SGA and all the stuff, the $300,000 worth of things he just bought his teammates. I mean, that team is bought in. They're all together. They're on the same page. And that chemistry, it's hard to beat in the NBA. It reminds me of the 2021 Suns, except 10 times better.
I will tell you this, that the San Antonio Spurs look like a team of destiny. And the way that Wemby is playing right now, they are a team that can give OKC problems. And I mean big problems. Do I still think the Thunder will win? I do. But I just think that this series is going to be terrific. Anything was better than that garbage game that we watched yesterday in the Eastern Conference Final. If you're the Detroit Pistons, how the hell do you not show up? Look, I get it. Teams win, teams lose. Cleveland played really well yesterday. They deserve that victory. but you had the best record in the East, and meaning the Detroit Pistons. Yes, I understand. Only a few years ago, you were the laughing stock of the NBA, but that is a few years ago. They have rebuilt that team. Cade Cunningham couldn't throw it in the ocean if he was in the middle of the ocean in a boat. And he was a guy who was in the conversation for MVP. So, man, they got to do some serious thought process in Detroit after that. Look, you lose by 10. Okay, I get it. You got beat. You lose by 15. Okay, I get it. You got beat. You lose by 35 on your home court? Come on.
They fell flat on their face.
Man.
And I mean, from the opening tip.
Yeah.
I mean, they were getting pummeled on. I mean, Jared Allen looked like prime Olajuwon last night. He couldn't do anything wrong. He was Euro stepping the lane. He was getting his own rebounds. The only thing he couldn't do was make free throws, but neither team was making free throws. I mean, they could not slow him down. What I think the biggest problem was Jalen Duren didn't show up. Cade Cunningham didn't show up.
Right.
And those are the two guys of that nucleus that won you 60 games. You're not going to have Tobias Harris heaving threes and Karis LeVert heaving threes, and you're not going to have a chance in that game. But what's crazy is they did the same thing at home in Game 5 when they had a chance to go up 3-2, and they fell apart. Yeah. So I think Cleveland, whether it was their game plan or whatever Kenny Atkinson did to get those guys ready, they had Detroit's number in that last few games.
You're not kidding. Hey, here are the best two words in sports. Game 7. And we get it tonight in the National Hockey League playoffs. It is Montreal Canadiens against the Buffalo Sabres. Game in Buffalo. The Western New York fans, the place is electric. It's going nuts. I'm going to watch that game tonight because I absolutely love Game 7. All right, when we come back, we normally do our replay rewind, but we got a special guest coming up. And the reason is because what took place yesterday at the PGA Golf Championship. We're going to have Steve Dalby on to break it all down for us. It's Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B. We are always presented by Lerner and Rowe. Lerner and Rowe. Just make one call. That's all. ESPN 620.
Let me remind you, Thursdays are where the weekend starts at Twin Peaks Restaurant. Grab an ice-cold Bud Light or a refreshing Michelob Ultra and catch wall-to-wall sports on massive TVs everywhere you look. Big games, cold beer, made from scratch food. Start your weekend early with Bud Light and Michelob Ultra. Thursdays at Twin Peaks. Eats, drinks, and scenic views. Phoenix, if you need a plumber, call the team that does it the right way. Victory Plumbing Arizona. It's particular plumbing for particular people with upfront pricing before the work starts. So there's no surprises when the job's done. And here's a deal just for listeners. Tell them you heard Victory Plumbing on Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B, and they'll waive the service charge. For leaks, clogs, water heaters, or anything plumbing, book today at victoryplumbingarizona.com. ROC number 268603.
I was in a wreck. I need a check.
I was in a wreck. I need a check.
I was in a wreck. I need a check.
I'm Attorney Kevin Rowe. Getting rear-ended once is bad enough. Don't let the insurance company hit you again with a lowball offer. Call an experienced attorney who knows how to fight and win. Call Lerner and Rowe today. 977-1900.
Rock for RightToyota.com. At Right Toyota, they'd like you to get to know them. Their goal is to make buying your next vehicle the kind of experience that earns your recommendation to family and friends. They invite you to use all of their innovative web tools on RightToyota.com. So if you're looking for a new or pre-owned Toyota, head to their interactive website at RightToyota.com. The right price, the right selection, all at RightToyota.com.
You're invited to Vans Golf Shops by Worldwide Golf to get custom fit for the all-new Titleist GTS drivers. Find the perfect driver for your swing, helping you gain superior distance, accuracy, and speed by personalizing your performance. Be the first to have the new Titleist GTS drivers by booking your fitting in-store or online at worldwidegolf.com. Trusted by golfers since 1963 and home to the legendary 90-day 100% satisfaction guarantee. Vans Golf Shops by Worldwide Golf. Get there.
Now open in North Scottsdale. It's the Orangedale Lounge. OD's, right off Thompson Peak and Bell, next to Bash's. Your new favorite dive bar has arrived. Cold drafts, chill vibes, always affordable prices, and the OD Mug Club, a one-of-a-kind membership you won't find anywhere else. No frills, just great people, ice-cold drinks, and a bar that feels like it's always been there. Follow at OD Scottsdale and get the scoop at orangedalelounge.com. Orangedale Lounge. Dive in and drink up.
Now back to Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B. Now on ESPN 620.
So at the end of last week, we had a conversation, and it was about the PGA Golf Championship. And they moved it. Normally it's in August, and it's kind of like lackluster. It gets lost in NFL football, college football, Major League Baseball. But now, since they have moved it, it has become, once again, a prestigious event. And to discuss what took place over those 4 days, we have the one, the only, Steve Dalby is on the show with us right now. Steve, welcome, pal. Roc is in traffic, so you're stuck with me.
Well, I'm glad to be stuck with you, Jimmy B, and it was a really good tournament, I thought, and I agree with you. I do think that the move to May is better for the PGA Championship, the PGA of America, which I'm a PGA of America member. I think it was a good move to try to get May on the schedule. August, like you said, everybody's talking about NFL, the dog days. It just didn't seem like the PGA Championship had the star power, I guess you'd say, in August to really be a relevant tournament. But I think what we saw this last few days was exciting golf. I think we got a great champion in Aaron Rai, maybe an unexpected champion, but a great champion. And man, that golf course, the way they set it up, the weather that it had, to have 9 under par, win a major championship, that is major championship golf, in my opinion.
All right, then you referenced the stars of golf, but the stars of golf trailed in that to a guy who, you and I know who he is, but the casual golf fan probably has no idea, and they probably don't even know that he's from Great Britain.
No, and it's the first time an Englishman has won the PGA Championship since I think 1918 or 1919, something like that. So that was a good bit of play, and a guy that has been on the PGA Tour. He's a PGA Tour winner, a guy that's been out there for a few years, but probably not the guy that you would have thought would have had the 9 holes that he did. And really, when we talk about, major championship golf, historically, it is just try to get yourself in position to have a chance with 9 holes to play. And that's what Aaron Rai did. He actually played the last 10 holes really, really well. He eagles the 9th hole, and then once one goes on a tear and shoots, I think, 4 or 5 under on the backside, and he's our champion. And like you said, the star power that we had, it was interesting because the golf course had played so hard on Thursday and Friday, but it did yield some scores on Saturday. And then yesterday morning, Kurt Kitayama goes out early and shoots 63. Justin Thomas shoots 5 under par, 65. So he's tied for the lead as the leaders are teeing off. So he's like, well, I got to hang around. And it didn't work out for him. He needed more weather. But the guys that we expected, Rory McIlroy, Scotty Scheffler, they just weren't able to mount that charge to overtake Aaron Rai.
Steve Dalby's our guest on the Right Toyota guest line. Okay, Steve, take me to the putt. It was like 322 yards long. As a professional golfer, how in the wide world of sport does a golfer read the green as well as he did and then convert on that putt?
Yeah, and I think the putt actually was like 68 feet.
I was close.
Hole, so
I was close.
You were close. He has the lead. So on that hole, it's a left pin, bunker left. He played the proper shot. He's got the lead. It's got a 2-shot lead at the time, I believe. So he plays it out to the right, and there's a ridge, and I'm sure he was trying to hit it on the ridge and have it move it to the left, but it moves to the right. On that putt, he even said he wasn't trying to make that putt, but it was all about speed. The read itself, those guys, they kind of have ideas on where the pins are going to be. So during the practice rounds, they're hitting putts to different spots. So he had an idea of the read, not that it was a perfect read, but part of it for him, it was just, let's hit it the right speed. Let's get it online and sort of just see what happens. He was trying, I'm sure, just to get it close for his 2-putt. And once in a while they fall in, and that will be a putt that will be remembered for years.
I'm with you on that 100%. And look, take me through the conditions. We have discussed it briefly, but I'd like to have you, as a guy who has played in difficult conditions and also on a difficult golf course, how did that change things?
Well, and I think so. So there was initially early in the week, the players themselves were saying that, you know what, this is going to be a tournament where the course is gettable. We'll be able to shoot, 18, 20 under par. That's going to be the winning score. But then on Thursday, they were all wearing sweaters. The wind was blowing. On Friday, the wind was blowing. Those greens, those are Donald Ross greens, traditional kind of Pinehursty greens with lots of slopes. And the PGA of America chose to put the pins in difficult spots, which I agree with. It's a major championship, so let's make it a little bit hard. And the guys struggled a little bit. On Saturday, you could see the pins were a good bit easier, and there were some scores out there. And I thought Saturday was really exciting. A lot of birdies, a lot of people making moves. But overall, I think on Saturday, the scoring average was right around par. So it held very, very well. And I thought, what it did prove, you were watching, you're thinking that this is Rory McIlroy's tournament to win. And, he hits it 10 miles, but yesterday he only hit, I think, 25% of the fairways. And that got him in some trouble because the rough was thick enough. The greens were tough enough where it wasn't just what we call sort of bomb and gouge golf. You had to think your way around that golf course. And, by not hitting into the fairway, he made it harder on himself. And so be it. And we look at Scotty Scheffler. Saturday, he missed 5 putts that were within, say, 6 feet or less that really, really hurt him. And then yesterday, the short putts as well. And I don't think it's anything that it's a concern that he's going to be, missing short putts the rest of the year. I think it was just that hard, and the ball didn't roll his way. And so sometimes that happens, and we've got a champion that maybe we didn't expect, but a very worthy champion.
I'm with you on that. Take me back to McIlroy. During his round, he told a fan to F off. And I think that he went and got the security and had the guy ejected. He was. Yeah,
I think.
Yeah, can you fill us in on that?
So I think it was. I think it was on maybe the 16th hole that he was playing, and obviously he's charging or trying to make a charge, and it's not going his way. So I'm sure he was not in the best frame of mind. And then I think there was some. USA chant, and that goes back to Ryder Cups and the competition of the Ryder Cups. And so you get a USA chant with a Philadelphia fan, and it didn't go very well. I think he snapped back with some choice words, and unfortunately, the guy that was chanting USA probably got escorted out. But and that's a tough one. It's you hope that doesn't happen in those tournaments, but there's some feelings that go back to the Ryder Cup that Rory McIlroy probably is going to not be able to escape sometimes.
All right, let me follow up then, because I like a little bit of a rowdy fan base on the golf course, but I don't want it to go overboard. In your estimation, in the last year or two, are fans trying to go overboard a little bit on some of the players, or is this just kind of like a one-off?
I think that I think there's a little bit where maybe we got to be careful with things and be watchful of things. But I would also say that the players now are very quick to snap back, and they're very quick to point out the fans where maybe in years past you just kind of you just kind of ignore and walk. So I'm not quite sure. I think it's something we have to be aware of, and you don't want it to go overboard, like you said, Jimmy, but it does happen. And I think in that particular case yesterday. He's frustrated. Some guy tries to get under his skin a little bit, and I think he did a good job. Now, one thing I got to say, Jimmy, I did say on last week when we were chatting on Thursday that Jon Rahm hadn't really been much of a factor in professional golf, and I'm gonna say this was a good tournament for Jon Rahm. He played well. He had a very good chance to win. It didn't go his way, but maybe he did sort of get himself back in the conversation. It's been well over a year since he's been any kind of relevant in professional golf, so he played well, so he deserves that.
I agree with you on that, but we all know that LIV is most likely going to dissolve after this season is complete. So don't you think that even the LIV golfers who were competing still had that on their mind?
I think so, and it is interesting, though, that some of the LIV golfers did sort of show up this week. So, Rahm plays well. Cam Smith showed some form. Joaquin Niemann played well. So maybe these guys are like, ooh, the free ride is over, and I've got to get my game in shape if I want to come back.
See, to me, that's exactly what happened. They got the free ride. They got all the money. They played only 3 days a week, and now it's back to reality. And I just wonder if some of those guys are going to struggle with that.
Yeah, and some may struggle, and some may, and they're, the road back might be difficult. But some of them, and I think in Jon Rahm's case, this was a good showing. Had he won the tournament, I'm sure the PGA Tour would really, in some ways, want him back. But he didn't win, so it will be interesting to see if he wants to come back to the PGA Tour after, leaving not the most friendly way, just what the price might be for him to come back.
I'm with you on that, pal. Thank you, man. It's always great when we catch up with you. Great insight. Thanks, Steve. Have a great day.
All right. Take care, Jimmy B. Always good to be with you.
Thank you, brother. There you go. Steve Dalby, everybody. And man, oh man, it was fun watching that golf tournament yesterday. And when Ryan made that putt on 17, I think the roof just blew off the entire course. It was absolutely tremendous. All right, a quick break. We're coming up with a little Rudy Carpenter is going to join us. But right now, let us get you to an ESPN 620 Sports Center update.
It's now time for your Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B's ESPN 620 Sports Center update. I'm Matt Lazarus. The D-backs took 2 of 3 from the Rockies over the weekend, highlighted by a stellar outing from Merrill Kelly, who tossed his first complete game of his career Friday night at Coors Field. Arizona now looks to carry that momentum into a 3-game set with the Giants at Chase Field. First pitch tonight is at 6:40, with pregame coverage beginning at 6 on 98.7 FM, also streaming live on the Arizona Sports app. There's no better place to catch every big game, fight, and playoff moment than Twin Peaks. Get wall-to-wall TVs, made from scratch food, and ice-cold beer served at 29 degrees. Plus, mark your calendar for tomorrow because it's Twin Peaks Customer Appreciation Day at all 5 Valley locations. All locals will feature a burger and fries special with the purchase of any beverage. Twin Peaks Customer Appreciation Day tomorrow at all 5 Valley locations.
Right in the heart of Arizona Athletic Grounds, one of the largest youth sports complexes in North America. Bristol's is the ultimate hangout for families and sports fans in Mesa. Come experience amazing double-decker cheeseburgers, award-winning wings, smoked barbecue, and fresh, craveable salads. With seating for 500, a full bar, 20 beers on tap, and over 100 TVs, happy hour Thursdays, Friday and Sunday from 4 till 6, plus trivia night every Thursday night. Bristol's, where Mesa comes to eat, watch, and win.
I was in a wreck. I need a check.
I was in a wreck. I need a check.
I was in a wreck. I need a check.
I'm attorney Kevin Rowe. The insurance company's job is to pay you as little as possible. Our job is to get you every dollar you deserve. Call Rowe and Rowe today and let's make them pay. Call 977-1900.
Arizona's headquarters for Toyotas is Right Toyota. Hey, Rock, for my friends at Right Toyota in Scottsdale. You will always find the right deal at Right Toyota. Right Toyota has been driving Arizona's home for years with their amazing service, pricing, and great selection. I encourage you to discover the difference at Right Toyota. Make the right choice, Right Toyota, just off the 101 on Franklin Wright Boulevard, and always online at righttoyota.com. The right price, the right selection. Check out righttoyota.com.
When hot is not an option, Stay Cool delivers. From patios to warehouses, shops to summer events, Stay Cool's Slim Cool Elite and Cool Cube mobile air coolers deliver more air for less money. They're rust-free and backed by more than 40 years of experience keeping you cool. Available now online at Home Depot, Lowe's, and Tractor Supply. Shipped to the store or right to your door. Visit staycool-products.com. Slim Cool Elite and Cool Cube. Get yours today with free shipping and beat the heat.
Nobody handed parents a manual for raising kids with smartphones. But we're learning something important. Heavy social media use can affect kids' sleep, confidence, and mental health. And simply banning it isn't realistic. What parents can do is learn how to guide kids towards a healthier balance. The Cars for Kids parenting blog offers practical advice for parents to help their children succeed in a digital world. Visit carsforkids.org/parenting because smart kids need informed parents.
We get it. A meal shouldn't cost you nearly $20. And we agree. At Venezia's Pizzeria, lunch or dinner for under $10 is still a thing. And for an even sweeter deal, stop in and grab a Slice Rewards card. Get a stamp for every qualifying Slice special. 10 visits, 1 free qualifying special. Simple. And every Tuesday, we double your stamps. That's your free pizza twice as fast. Venezia's Pizzeria, a family tradition with great rewards.
Now back to Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B. Now on ESPN 620.
All right, our State 48 Roofing It's Your Call question of the day. Robbie Ray returns to the Valley tonight wearing a Giants uniform, the orange and black. Which former D-back do you root against the most when they come back to Chase? Is it Robbie Ray, Madison Bumgarner, when he was a D-back going against us? You, of course, remember that. Or somebody else. You can tell us by going to our social media platform. Just search Roc and Manuch. It's our State 48 Roofing It's Your Call question of the day. We actually got 2 today.
Mm-hmm.
The other one that we're going to be talking about at 3 o'clock, the average cost of club sports in America is now over $5,000 per kid per year. And the question is to you, many of you parents that have kids that play youth sports, is youth sports still worth it for your family? I believe youth sports is recession proof. I really do. You're going to stop going to restaurants and going out to eat in movie theaters, but you're always going to make sure your kids can play sports or go to dance class or whatever it would be. So your 3 choices are, again, is youth sports still worth it for your family? 1, absolutely, best investment we make. 2, it's getting harder every year. Or 3, we had to pull our kids out. It's too expensive.
Well, I understand all 3 of those, but having 2 boys, it's the best investment I ever made.
That's why it's recession-proof.
That's why.
Would you agree it's recession-proof?
Yes. And look, we know that the cost is going to go up, but if you're a parent of a young boy or a young girl and they love sports, you will do just about anything to make sure that they can have their wish and try to play.
Yeah, because something we're going to get into a little bit later to a point is the fact that, it's a $40 billion business.
Unbelievable.
That's how big youth sports are in this country right now. A $40 billion industry. You put that in perspective. Roughly twice the annual revenue of the NFL. Twice the NFL.
Wow.
Your kids' travel team, your daughter's club volleyball, the hockey ring where your son's been skating since he's been, 4 years old?
Yeah.
Bigger than the NFL. Twice over. A few more numbers, just to tease this.
Okay.
46%. That's how much participation costs have gone up since 2019. 46% in 5 years. I mentioned $5,000, the average cost per kid per year for club sports in this country.
Mm-hmm.
How about $25,000? That's what some families are paying per kid per year. And here's the one that should make every parent listening maybe just 10-2 on your steering wheel if you're driving. Lower income families now participate in youth sports at half the rate than the wealthier families. Half. Sports is the great equalizer in America, and it's getting priced out for half the kids in the country, and that is sad. Rudy Carpenter joins us now on ESPN Radio. Rudy, youth sports. You were telling us a couple weeks ago your son is one of the younger kids that comes out to when you're training, right? I mean, have you noticed that? No, you're fortunate because you're a coach too, but youth sports is kind of getting pretty out of whack when it comes to how much it costs. We were just talking $5,000 per kid per year is what the average cost is now.
Well, I'm happy because I pay $0 a year for sports because my kids don't play any organized sports. My son asks me every day, Dad, I want to play on a team. I want to play on a team. I want to play on a team. And sometimes I feel bad for not allowing him to play on a team, but at the end of the day, I feel like I have a responsibility to allow him to be a kid.
Yeah.
And I think he's going to have, tons and tons of time to, play sports and play organized sports. And I think right now, me and him get such better work just on our own. We typically spend at least 30 minutes to an hour every single day after school, either in doing some baseball stuff, some basketball stuff, some football stuff, some golf stuff, some tennis stuff, volleyball. My wife played volleyball at ASU, and he loves it all. And I try to let him do it. And the moment that he starts to kind of, drift away, it's over. I want to try to keep it fun for him. And he asks me every single day, let's play. And so I just feel like right now for me and for us and for me, especially, I'm in this on an everyday level. I think that's the best approach.
I like that. Are you in favor?
I will say this. I lie a little bit. I did pay quite a bit of money for both of my son and daughter to do gymnastics for quite a while.
Okay. All right. So you're part of the $40 billion that this industry is making right now. But what about the fact that there's so many, are you in favor of young youth playing multiple sports or just focusing on just one sport?
Yeah, no, I think not. I mean, I don't even think the young youth. I think that these kids should play multiple sports all the way through high school. I mean, that's just me. I mean, that's what I did. It was a lot of fun. I understand that these kids think that it's so competitive now that they have to specialize and they have to get a bunch of training and they have to do all those things. I get it. But at the end of the day, I truly don't believe in that.
What do you say to these kids that are seeing the NIL money? They feel like they need to specialize in particular sports, and they're getting brainwashed because people are in their ears saying, hey, you need to just play football. You cannot play baseball, even though the seasons are different. How do you get around that?
I gave up. I gave up because the problem is the parents. The parents don't want to listen.
Yeah.
It honestly, it trips me out. These parents pay me thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars to train their kids, help their kids in recruiting, NIL, everything, and they do not listen to one word that I say.
That's amazing. I mean, that's absolutely amazing that they would not listen to a person who is so dialed in the way that you are. But correct me if I'm wrong, doesn't every parent think that their kid is always the best and he's going to be the number one soccer player or he's going to be the number one baseball player and then he's going to play in Major League Baseball or the NFL or the NBA? Don't they all have that opinion of their kid?
See, I try to be a little bit more empathetic than that. And the reason why I say that is because I don't know what these parents think. What I do know is, though, is what is crushing these parents and what drives these parents crazy and what literally drives them to the loony bin and why they can't handle themselves is because they spend every minute of the day on Twitter and they see kids getting offers and they think, well, why did my kid get? I'm like, your kid's a sophomore. You got a Division III offer today. Do you want to post that? Like, why do you care about a Division III offer as a sophomore?
I'm with you on that.
I'm not hating on a Division III school.
No,
I'm just saying your son has barely played any football, and you're wondering why he has no offers, and you're upset about it because everybody else on Twitter you think is getting an offer, and it's literally not how it is. But it's the social media that drives these kids and parents crazy.
And the thing that I can't stand is just the parents, the helicopter type parents, and then they get in fights, and then their kid gets kicked off the club team because the parent got in a fight with the other parent or a referee. I just think youth sports is such a big business. We were talking earlier, Rudy, that it's recession proof, right? I mean, you're going to do everything and anything for your son or daughter. You're going to make sure they're having fun and they want to play sports instead of going to that restaurant that night on a Friday or what have you. But I don't know how do you fix this? Because it seems like you're hearing more and more stories of more parents that are becoming an issue than the kids themselves.
Yeah, I mean, you're not going to fix it. You're not. And I mean, to me, like what I feel bad about is that ultimately these parents are ruining their relationships with their kids.
Yeah.
And, 10, 15, 20 years from now, their kids are going to hate them and not want to be around them and not spend time. And to me, I'm just not willing to sacrifice my relationships with my kids over sports. People ask me all the time, Rudy, what do I got to do to help my kid get to Division I sports or professional sports? And I'm like, you already made that decision a long time ago. The most important thing you could ever do is choose his parents wisely. Like, I'm sorry, you're 5'4", your wife is 5'3", and it's just not happening.
It's not happening.
I can't understand that.
Yeah, they're forcing these kids, and yeah, there are some kids a lot of parents that think their kids, like Jimmy said, are the next Tiger Woods, and they're not even close, and you kind of feel bad, but I don't know what you can do about that. Maybe you can talk on the radio instead, right? That's one way to get into sports.
Yeah.
So, Rudy, as you had time to kind of digest the Arizona Cardinals schedule, if that is something you do, I'm sure you don't, but when you kind of at least looked at it and you're hearing all the pundits talk about it, it's going to be a pretty big lift for them to get over 4 or 5 wins. Would you agree?
Man, it's really hard for me to talk about the Cardinals. My wife, to full disclosure, obviously works for the Cardinals at a high level
that's fair.
position, and it's hard for me because they work so hard. She works so hard, and I mean, I don't know, man.
Rudy, there's no problem with you saying we can't talk about that. I have utmost respect for you. We totally understand that. All right, then we'll shift gears. Aaron Rodgers is back at Pittsburgh. How much more time do you think he's got left? Is this gonna be his last year, or do you think he's gonna continue and try to play as long as Tom Brady?
I mean, I would imagine that as long as Aaron Rodgers is, happy with the coaching staff and the organization and feels like he has a chance to be competitive and win a title, and they're going to continue to pay him as much as they're paying him every year, I think he's going to continue to try and play.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously Mike McCarthy is someone that he's comfortable with, someone that he knows well. It's an offense that he knows well. It's a respected organization. They have a great fan base. They got some playmakers, and I think for Aaron, I think he feels like he's got a great legacy, and it would only help him to win another championship. And I think as long as he feels like the team can provide him that opportunity, I think he'll keep on trying to play. I think he can still play at a high level.
Absolutely.
I'm with you on that. Look, he was in the top 15 of quarterbacks even last season. Here's what I hear when I talk to some friends in Pittsburgh is they say, okay, he's probably going to get us then to a playoff game, which we would probably lose again because they haven't won a first-round playoff game, it seems, in forever. And if that's the case, they end up again with a middle-of-the-road first-round pick because they had success, but not the success the fan base is hoping for, Rudy. So what do you do? Are you caught between a rock and a hard place? If indeed they are once again a middle-of-the-road wild card team, get beat again in the first round, you don't you have to say goodbye to Aaron Rodgers at that time for sure and go in a different direction?
I mean, I would imagine everything would be on the table if that happened, right? I mean, the Steelers are an organization that feels like they should be a championship contender every year. And with Aaron Rodgers, his age and, where he is right now in his career, if he can't get him over that hump, I imagine they'll want to move on, especially because of the money they're paying. The problem is look at how many NFL teams are out there currently who don't even have a franchise guy.
Yeah.
And you look at the college level and it's like, man, how many franchise guys are there really? It's the development is so bad. It's why no offense. I mean, Gardner Minshew is still in the NFL. Jacoby Brissett is a starter. Josh Johnson's played on 17 teams. He's 40 years old. He's still in the NFL. Like, these are guys that, like, Tyrod Taylor is still in the NFL. Joe Flacco is still in the NFL, and that's because the development of young quarterbacks is not there. These college programs do a terrible, terrible, terrible job developing players.
Rudy, always a pleasure, man. Thanks for the time today. Appreciate you.
Thanks, guys.
That's Rudy Carpenter joining us here on Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B. Appreciate him taking some time, talking a little youth sports there. Up next, 22 years ago today, the big unit through perfection. And Urban Meyer just lost a $30 million fight with the Jaguars. And the reason why might surprise you. That's next on Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B, ESPN Radio Phoenix.
Join the team at All City Towing, Arizona's largest towing company and leader in roadside service. We're hiring dispatchers, call takers, lot attendants, drivers, and customer service pros ready to grow with us. You'll enjoy state-of-the-art equipment, consistent schedules, full health benefits, a strong 401k match, employer life insurance, and a monthly fuel allowance. Take your career to the next level. Apply today at allcitytowing.com. All City Towing, where your future is always moving forward.
Fight fans, Twin Peaks is your headquarters. Catch the greatest fight night action all month long, including premium matchups and wall-to-wall sports with no bad seat in the house. Grab made-from-scratch food, scenic views, and ice-cold beverages served at 29 degrees while every punch, takedown, and main event plays across the lodge. Don't watch the fight at homes. Watch them at Twin Peaks, where the energy feels like fight night. Twin Peaks, eats, drinks, scenic views.
You push hard, you train hard. Shouldn't your soda work just as hard? Meet Kunu, the superfood nutrition soda packed with whole vitamins, electrolytes, and antioxidants. Only 5 grams of natural sugar. Over 2,000 5-star reviews. Voted the #1 soda for athletes. Whole food nutrition, great taste. That's Kunu. Go to HUNUsoda.com and use code ESPN for 10% off your first order. Kunu Soda, soda that's actually good for you. HUNUsoda.com. Code ESPN. The best defense is a good offense at Studs Against Bugs. Our Tri-Guard technology attacks pests at the source and keeps a barrier around your home year-round. Scorpions, shut down. Ants, benched. Spiders, game over. Right now, new customers get their first treatment for just $99, a $229 value. No contracts. Call or text 480-670-4529. Or visit studsagainstbugs.com. Studs Against Bugs, defending the valley one home at a time.
When driving in Arizona, move over or slow down for any flashing lights. Move over for tow truck drivers, highway crews, and emergency responders. Move over for any vehicle with its hazards flashing. Because at 65 miles per hour, a vehicle travels over 95 feet in 1 second. 1 second that could change everything. When you move over for anyone, you're not just doing it for them, you're doing it for their families. Their lives are flashing before your eyes. Move over, Arizona. Every vehicle, every time. It's the law. Please visit moveoveraz.org. This message is brought to you by ADOT and this station.
When it comes to your roof, you don't want to mess around. And Arizona homeowners and business owners have known that for over a decade. State 48 Roofing is Arizona's #1 referred roofer. Residential, commercial, they do it all. And they've been doing it right here in the Valley for over 10 years. Protect your home, protect your business. And hey, keep your roof sexy with State 48 Roofing. Visit state48roofing.com. Or call 480-268-4509. State 48 Roofing, Arizona's most trusted roof. Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B want to take you back. A quick reflection on some of the more memorable moments in sports and pop culture. Now, time for your Wright Toyota On This Day report. Wright Toyota, right on the corner, right on the price. Wright Toyota in Scottsdale.
All right, 22 years ago today, May 18th, 2004, D-backs Randy Johnson became the oldest pitcher in Major League Baseball history to throw a perfect game. At 40 years, 251 days old, the big unit, he took the mound in Turner Field in Atlanta. He retired all 27 Braves he faced, 2-0 final, 13 strikeouts, 17th perfect game in MLB history. He broke Cy Young's record. Cy Young was 37 when he threw a perfect game in 1904. Randy did it at 40. And get this, the D-backs were an absolute mess heading into that game. They had a 5-game losing streak, last place in the National League West, just got swept by the Montreal Expos. Yes, Blaz, there used to be a baseball team called the Montreal Expos.
There was, yeah.
8 runs scored in their previous 5 games combined. Wow. Then Randy walks to the mound, 98-mile-an-hour fastball still humming, and just erased the entire lineup of the Braves. The last pitch was a 98-mile-an-hour fastball to pinch hitter Eddie Perez for a strikeout number 13. Eddie Perez you see on Sunday Night Baseball. And it remains the only no-hitter and only perfect game in Arizona Diamondback history. So 22 years ago today.
Remember it like it was yesterday. I mean, it was just perfection, and he was in such command, Roc. I don't think he wasted hardly any pitches. He just went after each batter the entire time.
All right, let's dive into a little football at 50 here on Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B on ESPN Radio. Well, more than 4 years ago, after the Jacksonville Jaguars fired Urban Meyer, an arbitrator has ruled the team was justified in cutting him for cause, saving the team over $30 million on a remainder of his 4-year, $36 million contract. So it was all based, if you remember, Meyer's 2021 viral bar video that drew all those headlines at the time.
Oh, yeah.
And the arbitration reportedly hinged on former, I guess, kicker Josh Lambo's claim that Meyer kicked him during a preseason practice. Now, Meyer, of course, is 61 now. He's been a Fox Sports college football analyst since 2022 after he got canned by the Jags. And he recently was just inducted in the College Football Hall of Fame. But how about that?
Couldn't happen to a nicer guy.
So I'm an Ohio State fan.
You are.
And Ohio State was here for a Fiesta Bowl, one of the playoff games, a few years ago. And Urban Meyer was no longer a coach. He was working for Fox. And we were at a hotel that I was hosting the hospitality for the Fiesta Bowl as one of my duties, as a volunteer, as a Yellow Jacket.
I understand, yeah.
And we had food provided for the VIPs in this room. And it would be coaches, sponsors, administrators. And if I'm not mistaken, Coach Meyer's son was one of the coaches on the coaching staff that time. And still somewhat of a legend as a Buckeye. Had a lot of success against Ohio State, or against Michigan.
Yeah.
So Urban Meyer did not like the food that we had served for him in this very high-end hotel in North Scottsdale where the team stayed.
Yeah.
So I'm not there at the time that this happened, but one of the other volunteers had to call me to let me know that, and I was staying at the property as one of the volunteers. So I had my own room.
Yeah.
So I had my own room. So Urban allegedly, well, not allegedly, it happened, went to one of the volunteers who was probably a junior or a rookie who really didn't know how things work.
Okay.
Urban, because it's Urban Meyer, wanted a specific menu to order food for him and his friends. So what did he decide to do? Order the food and put it on my room.
What?
Yes, he ordered the food and put it all on my room. $300. You know, like a couple turkey clubs.
I can't believe that.
You know,
well, no, it's Urban Meyer. I can believe it.
And I find out about this the next day.
Yeah.
and I was pissed.
I don't blame you.
Because I'm an Ohio State fan.
Yeah.
I had no issues with Urban Meyer other than the fact that I know even when he was at Utah, we had issues with him when the bowl game was at Chase. I think they played Pittsburgh the year that Larry Fitzgerald was here when he was playing for Pittsburgh. But I do remember others had issues with Urban Meyer.
Oh, yeah.
But the fact that he didn't think anything of it because he's Urban Meyer, that he could just order food and put it on somebody else's tab, which was mine, and I always say I had to pay it.
So you did have to
I did pay it, yeah.
Wow. Look,
just so I can tell this story.
Yeah.
It's worth it.
It is.
It's a $300 story.
It is a $300 story.
And I'm like, Urban Meyer charged a bunch of turkey clubs and a bunch of other stuff on my tab at a North Scottsdale resort.
I'm not
and didn't think
surprised.
twice about it.
I'm not surprised.
It comes up. So there's multiple people that are Yellow Jackets or former Yellow Jackets that like to remind me whenever Urban Meyer's in the news. So the deal with the Jags just kind of hit.
Yeah.
So I have a feeling that I'll have a few text messages today that, hey, how's your boy Urban Meyer?
Yeah,
how's that turkey club with no mayo?
Ooh, man.
Kind of fun story.
It is. Hey, it's a good story.
I thought it was good. Anyway,
I liked it.
Still ahead, Game 7 in Buffalo. The Sabres just blew the doors off of Montreal in Game 6. And now it's a winner-take-all. There's nothing better in hockey in playoffs. Game 7. And how about the Maple Leafs hiring John Chaika? Yeah, the same John Chaika who was with the Coyotes. And now Shane Doan is out there. We're going to catch up with NHL ESPN analyst Steve Peters, who's going to break it all down next. You're going to want to hear this. It's Roc and Manuch and Jimmy B on ESPN Radio 620. We're on FM at 98.7 HD-2, and we're always on the Arizona Sports app. 2 o'clock hours next.
Megan's grandfather bought his first Ranger here. Her dad bought his first F-150 here. And she just drove off the lot in a new Ford Expedition for her family. 3 generations, all choosing Sanderson Ford. Visit Sanderson during their anniversary sale and see why. Right now, purchase any new Ford and get a $500 Circle K fuel card on Sanderson. We have your first 5 tanks covered. When you're in the market for a new vehicle, choose the dealership families have been trusting for over 70 years. Choose Sanderson Ford. Not valid on fleet or AXZ or D-Plan purchases. Offer expires 5/31/26.
At Fisher Investments, we may seem like other money managers, but we're different.
What makes you so different than the rest of us?
We ensure clients receive unparalleled service at every step of the relationship.
Tell me more.
Our investment counselors focus on service over sales, prioritizing clients' needs.
How do you make money?
We don't sell any commission-based products. We have a simple management fee based on the value of our client's portfolio. So we do better when our clients do better.
What about client portfolios?
We get to know each client, their finances, family, health, lifestyle, and more. And then we tailor a portfolio based on their specific goals and needs.
Your clients really come first then, huh?
Yes, we make them a top priority. Our goal is helping them achieve a comfortable retirement.
Wow, maybe we are different.
At Fisher Investments, we're clearly different. Learn more at FisherInvestments.com.
Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
Every person in a crowd deserves to feel safe. After 10 lives were lost at a concert, Pink Bows Foundation stepped forward, fighting for safer venues and crowd safety training. So when you walk into a concert or cheer on your team at a big game, Pink Bows wants you to feel protected and safe in a crowd. Our focus is to help prevent another tragedy. Visit pinkbowsfoundation.org. Pink Bows Foundation. Safer events save lives.
Bigger fields, bigger events, bigger experiences. Arizona Athletic Grounds. Arizona Athletic Grounds is a 275-acre sports and entertainment destination for athletes, fans, and families. Located in Mesa, AAG is one of the largest multi-sport complexes in the country, with over 475,000 square feet indoors and more than 150 fields and courts. From tournaments to training to cheer, dance, concerts, and corporate events, the grounds does it all. Learn more at azgrounds.com. When it's game time in the Valley, you know what time it is. It's Twin Peaks time. Head to Twin Peaks with 5 Valley locations and massive screens everywhere you look. From basketball, baseball to hockey, fights, and more, there's no better place to catch every play and all the action. Bud Light is a proud partner of sports fans everywhere. Twin Peaks, eats, drinks, scenic views.
KTAR AM Phoenix, Arizona's home for the worldwide leader in sports. Is ESPN 620. Now back to Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B. Now on ESPN 620.
Out to the point for Burns. Across it comes to Natchez. 6 games on the ice for the Gamers. Here's McKinney.
The Avalanche, my pick, not a surprising pick to win it all.
Yeah.
They will have the Golden Knights starting Wednesday in Denver. They are favored to win that series. Carolina's been sitting, waiting as they swept Philly. Well-rested, fresh, and dangerous. They'll play the winner of tonight's Buffalo-Montreal game. Oh, Game 7s in the NHL. Join us now. He's been to, at least 12, 14 Game 7s when he was with the Yotes. How many were you with? Game 7 Western Conference Finals, Steve Peters?
Yeah, that's really funny. We played, you know what, though, Roc? I was there for 23 7th game of the season.
Okay.
That's about as close as I could get. Not too many Game 7s. Had a couple, and we didn't win them. But honestly, this time of year for hockey fans, there's nothing better than playoffs. And you can take all of your other sports. I know they're great, and we all love them all. But there's nothing like the gauntlet of the Stanley Cup.
I couldn't agree. You know, what's interesting, though, when you watch some of this, especially the Buffalo-Montreal series, a lot of goals are being scored. You know, there was Montreal had 5, then 6 back-to-back in Game 2 and 3. Then they had another 6 in Game 5. And, of course, Buffalo scores 8. They blow the doors off and force the Game 7. What do you attribute that to, a former goaltender as you were?
Yeah, you know, the reality is this game is just getting faster and more skilled. I think when you see the pace that this game is played at, the forwards and the offense has gone along and adapted much quicker than the defending has. And honestly, the goalies are just getting pummeled in the back of the net. It is, as a fan, though, I want to see 8-6. I don't want to see 1-0.
Yeah.
Let's light it up.
Yeah.
Let's go back and forth. So this has been really exciting. I don't anticipate the next round, when we get to the conference final, I don't anticipate you're going to see these outrageously high scores. I think it will be a little bit tighter, and you'll see more defending in the next round.
So here's my follow-up question to that. In your estimation, are the goalies not as good as they used to be? Or is it a case where now the goal scorers have improved so much more that they capitalize on weak goaltending?
Yeah, I think it's more the latter. And I think, Jimmy V, if you go back to when you were watching Tony Esposito and Glenn Hall back when you were in high school. Bernie Perrant.
Yeah, right.
The truth is, if you saw the goals being scored on those guys, if you put one of today's goaltenders in those games, it would be a completely different game. I just think it's an evolution of the sport. I think the shooters are better. Yeah. I think the speed is faster. I think crashing the net and being more physical on goaltenders has increased so much more rapidly. But there is some nugget of truth to that. Goaltenders aren't as good. And I'm sure there's all kinds of goalie coaches listening in today. I blame them. They are trying to make robots out of the goaltenders instead of making athletes.
Okay, let me go ahead. Finish up.
No, I was just going to say, because when you look at the best goaltenders in the league right now, across the board, they're Russian. It's Russian goalies who don't get that attention. You know, Sorokin, Vasilevsky, Shesterkin. It's because those guys don't get the individual coaching and teaching until they're much later, 15, 16, 17, where here in North America, U.S. and Canada, we're doing it at 7 and 8. Mm-hmm. And we miss the fundamentals of the game, and we get right to the harder concepts. And it's really unfortunate.
Oh, man, where's Jacques Plante when you need him? So here's my point. You won't get that, Roc, but he did.
Nope.
Here's my point on what you just stated. With the existence of now, two-line passes don't exist anymore. You reference the pace of the game. In your estimation, just in the last couple of years, is it much faster than what it was even a few years ago?
It is, and it's not the top end players. I know there's some freaks out there like McDavid and McKinnon that play at that pace all of the time. But what's really changed is the lower level guys, the fourth line player who used to be just sent over the boards to fight. In all sincerity, now that guy has to be able to play. You have 4 lines, 12 forwards that can all create offense, and I think that's been the biggest shift. Is now that there are more players that are more skilled and are faster. So it's just more players playing at a higher pace and a higher skill game.
He's Steve Peters, Telestration producer for ESPN. Also, you got to check out Inside the Coaches Room with PD on YouTube. So Buffalo has lost 4 of 6 at home, and we are seeing a little bit of a trend here with both Montreal and Buffalo that they're winning on the road. What would you attribute that to?
I don't know, and it's odd because when in a series this tight, you really like the home ice. You can get your line matchups the way you want them, and you feel you have an advantage with the home crowd. I don't know. I haven't seen something in this large of disparity before where you really don't win. And if you've seen any of the games in Montreal, my goodness, like the atmosphere in the Bell Center is absolutely fantastic. It's surprising to me they can't close this out. I think, and I guess I'll go on a big limb here, I think that shifts tonight. I think the Buffalo Sabres find a way to close this out at home in Buffalo.
Okay, then I'll follow up then with this. I've always stated, you can tell me to just take my pants and pick up my butt and get out if I'm all wrong. So I've always stated NHL playoffs totally different than NBA playoffs on home court or home ice. The reason? Because in the NBA, people are right on top of you. I mean, literally on the floor, right on top of you. In the NHL, you have the ice, then you have the boards, and then you have the netting that also circles the ice as well. So my question then, Steve, is in the NBA, those guys hear every F-bomb that's directed at them. When you're on the ice, isn't it just a loud noise and that's it? You don't hear the personal insults.
It really is true. Now, and you have to, the glass is the biggest culprit. It's just a steady buzz or a hum. You don't, now there might be the odd guy. I can think of some of the things that were said to me when I was playing, not in the NHL, but at certain levels, you hear it. And it's more difficult in basketball, clearly. The thing at home in hockey, yes, you don't hear the individual taunts, but you do feel the emotion of the crowd as it ebbs and flows. And in Montreal, it's a great example, 21,000 people. And when things are going good, that building is shaking. But the difference, I really believe this. I always like to start the playoffs, and I know, Roc, we didn't go much. But when we did go into the playoffs, I liked starting on the road because everything was so centrally focused on the game. You're at the hotel together. You're on the bus together. You're at meals together. But when you're at home, everybody's got to get tickets for their friend and their family, or their neighbor wants to know how the game's going to go. And you've got those outside distractions that really can take you away from what your singular focus should be. So I don't know if the crowd's as much as there's the periphery around it.
All right, Steve, Coach, let's talk about your Maple Leafs hiring John Chayka, of course, for those listening, the former Coyotes GM, a guy who got suspended through 2021. And what's your honest read inside the league on this hire? I mean, a guy that's been, had to resign abruptly, for personal or pursuing other opportunities. And then, of course, when the Yotes got stripped of the second round pick in 2020 and the first in 2021 for violating some scouting combine stuff. I mean, how does this guy get hired in Toronto, of all places, the biggest market for hockey?
Yeah, it is a conundrum.
Yeah,
I will tell you the absolute truth sometime when you were sitting at your tavern. I'll give you the real truth. As close as I can do here on the radio.
Yeah, that's fair.
Absolutely stunned. Absolutely stunned. He is, and I'll go in a couple different directions. When you look at a general manager, you look at somebody that's won. John hasn't done that. You look at somebody that's drafted well. John hasn't done that. You look at somebody who has built a team well with trades. John hasn't done that. And then on top of that, suspended, quit on his team, was 25 years old with no guidance around here, really shouldn't have gotten the job in the first place just because of an owner really had taken a shine to him. That's how he got in. It's just baffling to me. I don't understand how in today's era where you can turn on the internet and just type his name in. Like, I'm not talking out of school. Just go look him up.
Yeah.
And the search should have ended with that. The biggest thing I want to say about this, too, is look what happened literally today. They had two office people, general managers, their capologist, who's in charge of making sure they're compliant with money. They left today. And those guys have been there for 10, 12, 15 years. And when you start to see those people starting to leave, that's where you start to get an idea of what's happening in Toronto.
It's the biggest head scratcher in so much controversy in the history of the sport. Would you?
Why would you do that? Why would you do that?
Yes.
Yeah. He hasn't worked in hockey in over 6 years. I don't get it.
What does this? I mean, you know who John Chayka is. I mean, what was his expertise? Just being numbers? I mean, analytics? What was it?
Yeah, I think there's two things. He does communicate incredibly well to businessmen.
Okay.
And he makes businessmen feel like they're on equal footing with hockey people. And if you guys have been around sports enough to know, owners aren't on equal footing with hockey people. They're not. They didn't grow up with the sport. They weren't around all the time. Some are. I don't want to say everybody isn't. But they don't feel they can go into a general manager's office on equal footing. John makes them feel like they can because they have his numbers. Jeez. The numbers, if I see a player is ranked 82, this player's 78, well, this player's better. I can tell it on a piece of paper because John told me. And I think that's honestly what happened here in Toronto with Keith Pelly, who is making the decisions for the Toronto board. He wants to be a part of it. He wants to make decisions. He was rumored to have brought AI to the trade table and asked questions of AI when they were looking at proposed trades at the trade deadline. He so desperately wants to have his hands in this. And I'm certain that John could sit in there, show him his numbers, and made this guy feel like, oh, okay, I get it. I know it now. I can be in the room and be a part of these decisions.
All right. Speaking of being part of decisions, Shane Doan is out in Toronto within days of Chayka getting the job. He still hasn't gotten a fair shake from this league. From your seat, and you know Shane well, for some reason, I don't get it. Is he blackballed or this front office market thing is just too thin? Where do you see him actually landing? I've heard Vancouver, Seattle, Philadelphia. Where will we see Shane Doan or he is going to pursue bringing hockey back here to the Valley?
I think with Shane, clearly not blackballed. He is extremely well liked. He went about things the right way. He got a job with the league. He learned how that works.
Yeah.
I think the Toronto job was very good for him because deep down, Shane Doan is a family guy. He wants to be able to go see his son play. He likes to be in Arizona and see his family. So I don't know, honestly, sincerely, if a general manager job is what he is pursuing. I know he's been rumored about all of these jobs, and I don't know this for sure, but my gut feeling is Shane wants to come home.
Yeah.
And home is Arizona. And I think what you're going to see is Andrea has been on this board to bring hockey back to the NHL. I think you're going to see Shane in the next several months being the face of that movement, trying to bring hockey back in front of the camera and behind the scenes. I think his focus now will completely shift to bringing hockey back to Arizona.
How big of a billionaire will have to be in on this deal for it to even have legs to try to grow again?
Yeah, well, it's going to be more than me, you, and Roc, Jimmy,
okay,
for sure.
Yeah, probably.
It's and the sad thing is, and the biggest concern is that number grows almost every single day. It is up over $2 billion just for the franchise fee now, not the building, not the contracts. It's just to get your foot in the door. It's an expansion fee of over $2 billion. When Morello left here, it was just getting to $1 billion. So we're talking in a matter of 2 seasons, that number doubled. And how much more value are these organizations going to have as these TV contracts get bigger and corporate deals get bigger and ratings are up? So that's the biggest concern I have is if there is something going to happen here, it needs to start to move relatively quickly, or it's just going to become too expensive in 2, 3, 4 years down the road.
I'm seeing, with the success of Salt Lake City, that I thought Phoenix would still be up there, but I'm seeing a lot of stories on Atlanta and, of course, Houston, which is now the 6th largest city, and we're the 5th, that are maybe ahead of Phoenix. Are you buying any of that? And then I'm also seeing Indianapolis, Austin, maybe Quebec City still remains hopeful.
I don't want to throw conspiracy theories out there. There will not be another team in Canada. They can't afford it. The dollar doesn't work. Their tax structure doesn't work. Right. There will not be a team in Canada. We talk about a billionaire here. You're going to need 4 or 5 Canadian billion. Canadian. When you talk about the other cities, and I think they've done a better job marketing themselves when you talk about Houston and Atlanta, because none of them are any farther than Arizona. They'll tell you they are, but they don't have a building. They don't have a site. Atlanta has 2 ownership groups fighting over it, but neither one has really stepped forward. And I have heard that the price becoming $2 billion has started to push at least one, if not both, of the owners out in Atlanta. So Houston's for real. I think Houston's first. I think Houston's done. And my surprise pick today for team number 2 is Arizona.
Wow. Well, I hope you're right. I don't know why, Atlanta, they failed twice. For those who are not familiar with Atlanta, the Flames left to Calgary in 80, and then the Thrashers left for Winnipeg in 2011. But yeah, I think Houston makes some sense. They're not too close to the Dallas Stars. Wouldn't cannibalize that fan base.
Yeah, the biggest concern there with Houston and Arizona both coming in is you've got to have one team play in the East. You clearly want to have Houston in the West being an automatic rival with the Dallas Stars. So there are some logistics and some concerns, without question. But the league will look past that if the owner presents himself in Arizona. And there's money here. Like, you go drive around North Scottsdale and into Cape Creek. There's money here.
Yeah, just drive up to where you live, right? Way up there.
How about your house? My neighborhood. If you can get by the gate code and the security. But you're absolutely right. And so I don't think that's the bigger concern. I think the bigger concern here is, and always has been, where is the arena going to be?
Yeah.
Do we have the political infrastructure that can help get us the arena? And to be frank, will Matt Ishbia put up a fight if there's another building trying to be built, taking away concert revenue? I think that is honestly one of the biggest pieces in this whole puzzle, is if Matt Ishbia is going to be a part of it, or if he's going to be against it. And I think if that could get ironed out, I think this process could move quicker.
Yeah, let's hope so. Steve, what are you working on? I know Inside the Coaches Room with PD, and it's on YouTube. Where else people can find you, and what are you working on?
Yeah, and honestly, if you don't know hockey and you want to get involved in the playoffs, just jump over to Inside the Coaches Room. Honestly, I try to teach the game at a level that people understand. And if you don't have time to watch a full video, catch me on Twitter at @SPetersHockey. And right now, I got to go work Game 7 for the Worldwide Leader. So it's going to be a very fun night.
Don't do the Worldwide Leader stuff, PD. Come on,
you guys
Coach.
Do it too. You guys do it too.
No, we don't say that. We are ESPN Radio Phoenix. No, Worldwide Leader. Yeah, I want to watch WNBA highlights. All right, buddy.
There you go.
Good stuff.
Hey, he's
Love
a
you,
big
man.
Caitlin Clark fan.
Yeah, I know.
I am.
All right, Coach. Thanks for the time, buddy. We're going to talk to you more next week. All right.
Yeah, thanks for having me, guys. We'll talk to you soon.
See you. Good job. Steve Peters, formerly coach for the Yotes for many years, 23 years. So good stuff there. All right, D-backs took 2 of 3 at Coors. Now they come home with some momentum. But Robbie Ray returns to the Valley for the first time as a Giant. On the other side, Zach Allen, in the middle of a contract year nightmare, looking to remind everyone who he is. So big series, big pitching duel. We'll break it down next.
When it's game time in the Valley, you know what time it is. It's Twin Peaks time. Head to Twin Peaks with 5 Valley locations and massive screens everywhere you look. From basketball, baseball, to hockey, fights, and more, there's no better place to catch every play and all the action. Bud Light is a proud partner of sports fans everywhere. Twin Peaks, eats, drinks, scenic views.
Join the team at All City Towing, Arizona's largest towing company and leader in roadside service. We're hiring dispatchers, call takers, lot attendants, drivers, and customer service pros ready to grow with us. You'll enjoy state-of-the-art equipment, consistent schedules, full health benefits, a strong 401k match, employer life insurance, and a monthly fuel allowance. Take your career to the next level. Apply today at allcitytowing.com. All City Towing, where your future is always moving forward.
Hey, Arizona State football fans, London is calling. The Sun Devils are headed across the pond to face Kansas in the inaugural Union Jack Classic, September 19th at Wembley Stadium. It's the first college football game ever played there, and you should be part of it. For tickets, hospitality, and travel packages, visit UnionJackClassic.com or contact the Sun Devil ticket office. Join Coach Dillingham, Sparky, and the Sun Devils in London. Forks up.
I was in a wreck. I need a check.
I was in a wreck. I need a check.
I was in a wreck. I need a check.
I'm Kevin Rowe from Lure and Rowe, and we've been serving Arizonans for 20 years. Make the best choice after an accident. Call 977-1900. That's 977-1900.
You push hard, you train hard. Shouldn't your soda work just as hard? Meet Hunu, the superfood nutrition soda packed with whole vitamins, electrolytes, and antioxidants. Only 5 grams of natural sugar. Over 2,000 5-star reviews. Voted the #1 soda for athletes. Whole food nutrition, great taste. That's Hunu. Go to HUNUsoda.com and use code ESPN for 10% off your first order. Hunu Soda, soda that's actually good for you. HUNUsoda.com. Code ESPN.
I work for the Arizona Department of Public Safety Commercial Vehicle Enforcement Unit. Any idea why I stopped you today? No, sir. I stopped you for distracted driving. Arizona law prohibits the use of electronic devices unless they're hands-free. Truck drivers see everything, except their blind spots. Cutting off a truck is like cutting off a freight train. It's dangerous, so stay focused on the road. Visit sharetheroadaz.com to learn how to drive truck smart.
Sponsored by the Arizona Trucking Association Foundation and the Arizona Governor's Office of Highway Safety.
Now back to Roc and Manuch with Jimmy V. Now on ESPN 620.
The 1-2. Swing and a miss. He got him. And at 37 years old, Merrill Kelly fires his first ever complete game in the most unlikely of venues. 9 innings of 1-run ball at Coors Field. What a way to start the road trip. What a performance by Merrill Kelly, one he will never forget. And the Diamondbacks dominate the Rockies by a final score of 9-1.
Stakes came out firing on Friday night. 9 runs of offense. That altitude holding them to just 1, as you just heard, and some good pitching. Then on Saturday, a little bit of a stumble. It was an early start, 12-10 here.
Yeah.
And the bats went quiet. I mean, they used them all up the night before. But then then the next day, I should say, a shootout, as that one is the one that mattered was yesterday with the series on the line. The getaway game, and the D-backs came out and traded haymakers with the Rockies at that altitude. 8 runs of offense, and that was good stuff. So they hold on. And big story there was Eduardo Rodriguez got the ball at some point this weekend, and he struck out 6 against the Rockies. And quietly, he is having an amazing year. The veteran lefty has been a steady force on this rotation. Another piece, the Coors Field historically has eaten this team alive, going in and taking 2 of 3 at that altitude. That counts, man. That's good stuff. And that's a series win in a place where wins are hard to come by. So the series win moves this team to 22-23, knocking on the door of 500. Still 3rd in the National League West. Kind of stopped the bleeding a little bit there, but good stuff. Now they're home for a 6-game homestand, starting with the Giants, and then look at the Rockies back for the weekend. But 6 games against NL West teams at home. This is when you make a move.
I agree with you 100%. That's coming up in our Factor Fouhy questions as well. look, you have to take care of business against the teams that are just so-so or even worse. And so they won the series against Colorado. They have to continue to win the series against the Giants. Look, your team, the Philadelphia Phillies, now that they swapped out managers and have Donnie Baseball,
they're on fire.
They're on fire. And your boy Schwarber is hitting bomb after bomb after bomb. And the Phillies were left for dead 2 weeks ago, and now they're over 500. So the point that I'm making is that you have to stay in contact with other teams in that wild card race. You're not going to beat the Dodgers, probably not going to beat the Padres, but you do have enough talent to be a wild card team once again. And as we all know, it's just getting in. Once you're in, it's a brand new season. You just want to make sure that you're good enough to get in.
So tonight, Robbie Ray, former D-back. Of course, he won the Cy Young in 2021 when he was in Toronto, now back in San Francisco. He's pitching like himself again, a sub-3 ERA. He's got a healthy arm. And we just hope he's not pitching like he did when he was dominating back then. But, maybe a little revenge on his brain.
Yeah,
and then, of course, Zach Gallen. And Snake fans, we have a lot to talk about this. I mean, 1-4 with a 5.65 ERA. That's not the Zach Gallen we know, not the 2023 Cy Young finalist. He has been a shell of himself this year, and we're just not sure what's going on. His velocity's been down. His command's been somewhat spotty. Gives up the long ball at a rate we just have not seen before. And this is a contract year again for him. Of course, he signed a free agent. He's a free agent, 1-year deal.
Yep.
And if he doesn't bounce back soon, I expect him to get traded at the trade deadline.
You referenced the fact, I'll take minor issue with it, where you said this isn't the Zach Gallen that we have seen. Well, we did see it. We saw it last year.
Good point.
And
we had the same conversation last year, right?
Exactly. That was the same topic of conversation. And now we're having it again. And for that point, I know that people have come on this show and indicated, well, he would be tradable. Well, who's going to take him? I mean, a lot of people, even Laz, said, well, the Cubs would be interested. Well, the Cubs don't want a guy who's got over 5 ERA and is 1-7. They don't want that guy. But there's always a pitching coach or always a general manager or a manager of a team that says, hey, I can fix him. And so somebody would indeed make that deal if it comes to that and he is available. But right now, what we saw last year is the same guy that we are seeing this year.
So can Gallen pitch like Gallen? If he goes out and he dominates tonight, this whole rotation kind of feels different, right? You really need him. And the bats can't go cold the way they did on Saturday in Denver. If they can come in the chase, of course, sea-level air, right? This is their park, no excuse. But they can't let Robbie Ray walk in here and look like the Robbie Ray of the past.
Agree.
And let's hope. So you got 3 games, 2 at night, Monday, Tuesday, and then a day game on Wednesday. But taking 2 of 3 in Coors, good stuff there. I mean, good stuff, and you just hope that they'll get this thing rolling. 6:40 first pitch tonight. You'll be able to listen to that on 98.7. Coming up, we are going to get into a little fact or Fouhy from ABC 15's Craig Fouhy. Now, we normally, you'll hear when we bring them on after this update, we say that Dan Manucci writes the questions. But today, this is a big deal, and it's taken about 7 years for this. Jimmy B is participating with the show. I was in a golf tournament for Park University this morning out in Gilbert. Great job. Or it's not Gilbert. Queen Creek.
Yeah.
And I was a little tight for time, 7 o'clock tee time. I had to be out there real early. So I just said, Jimmy, I need a favor. Just one thing. You don't do anything else for the show.
Not much.
But I need one thing, and that is do fact or Fouhy. Because Manuch is still out with the nose job, but he'll be back. Is he back next week?
He's back next week.
Tuesday after Memorial Day.
Yeah.
I can't. I'm just so. I'm anticipating this nose. I mean, he's been off this be 3 weeks.
Why, you think he's going to look like Michael Jackson?
Well, you never know, dude. Nose job. I mean, he had a big nose to carve that thing out. I mean, I know it was like a 7-hour procedure. So we'll see when he gets here. He still had, because he probably has black eyes, right? When you get a nose job.
That's it. Yeah, you look like a raccoon.
Yeah, so when he comes back. But here's Laz with who's sponsoring today, probably Twin Peaks. The Twin Peaks ESPN Sports Center update.
It's now time for your Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B's ESPN 620 Sports Center update. I'm Matt Lazarus. The D-backs took 2 of 3 from the Rockies over the weekend, highlighted by a stellar outing from Merrill Kelly, who tossed the first complete game of his career Friday night at Coors Field. Arizona now looks to carry that momentum into a 3-game set with the Giants at Chase Field. First pitch tonight is at 6:40, with pregame coverage beginning at 6 on 98.7 FM, also streaming live on the Arizona Sports app. There's no better place to catch every big game, fight, and playoff moment than Twin Peaks. Get wall-to-wall TVs, made from scratch food, and ice-cold beer served at 29 degrees. Plus, mark your calendar for tomorrow because it's Twin Peaks Customer Appreciation Day at all 5 locations. All locals will feature a burger and fries special with the purchase of any beverage. Twin Peaks Customer Appreciation Day tomorrow at all 5 Valley locations.
Let me remind you, Thursdays are where the weekend starts at Twin Peaks Restaurant. Grab an ice-cold Bud Light or a refreshing Michelob Ultra and catch wall-to-wall sports on massive TVs everywhere you look. Big games, cold beer, made from scratch food. Start your weekend early with Bud Light and Michelob Ultra. Thursdays at Twin Peaks. Eats, drinks, and scenic views. When hot is not an option, Stay Cool delivers. From patios to warehouses, shops to summer events, Stay Cool's Slim Cool Elite and Cool Cube mobile air coolers deliver more air for less money. They're rust-free and backed by more than 40 years of experience keeping you cool. Available now online at Home Depot, Lowe's, and Tractor Supply. Shipped to the store or right to your door. Visit staycool-products.com. Slim Cool Elite and Cool Cube. Get yours today with free shipping and beat the heat.
I was in a wreck. I need a check.
I was in a wreck. I need a check.
I was in a wreck. I need a check.
I'm attorney Kevin Rowe. Being in an auto accident is traumatic. You need to call the best law firm that has the experience to get you the best results. Call 977-1900. That's 977-1900.
Phoenix, if you need a plumber, call the team that does it the right way. Victory Plumbing Arizona. It's particular plumbing for particular people with upfront pricing before the work starts. So there's no surprises when the job's done. And here's a deal just for listeners. Tell them you heard Victory Plumbing on Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B, and they'll waive the service charge. For leaks, clogs, water heaters, or anything plumbing, book today at victoryplumbingarizona.com. ROC number 268603.
Now open in North Scottsdale. It's the Orangedale Lounge. ODs, right off Thompson Peak and Bell, next to Bash's. Your new favorite dive bar has arrived. Cold drafts, chill vibes, always affordable prices, and the OD Mug Club, a one-of-a-kind membership you won't find anywhere else. No frills, just great people, ice-cold drinks, and a bar that feels like it's always been there. Follow at OD Scottsdale and get the scoop at orangedalelounge.com. Orangedale Lounge. Dive in and drink up.
Sleep isn't just rest, it's restoration. Poor sleep can increase your risk of cognitive decline and dementia. Getting 7 to 8 hours of quality sleep each night helps your brain clear toxins and stay sharp. Research shows that up to 40% of dementia cases could be prevented or delayed by addressing risk factors, including lack of sleep. Tonight, give your brain the rest it deserves. Learn more at alz.org/healthy habits. This message is sponsored by the Alzheimer's Association and the Arizona Department of Health Services.
It's time for Fact or Fouhy with ABC 15 Sports Director Craig Fouhy. Fouhy joins the guys each Monday to break down the top stories of the weekend. And as a reminder, Manuch writes the questions. Now, here's ABC 15's Craig Fouhy.
Not today. Jimmy B has written the questions. Fouhy, just disclaimer, as I just mentioned, Jimmy B, age 92.
That's correct.
He had to have his great grandson put these right, type it in because you can't type. So it's all right here. So you okay with that?
Is that with a feather pen with the inkwell?
Yeah.
Oh,
With the
come
ink,
on,
yes.
Fouhy, give me a break here, pal.
In cursive? Come on.
In cursive, yes. In cursive. Yeah, people listening under, 40 don't know what in cursive is. But yeah. Remember you had to take those penmanship classes?
Yes, I remember that. Mine was terrible. I
it's
failed
the
it
worst.
always.
I thought I'd be a doctor because you didn't have to be able to write. when
Or
you
an
were a doctor.
attorney, same
Yes.
deal.
All right, Fouhy, here we go. These are Jimmy B's questions for ABC 15 Sports Director Craig Fouhy. All right, question number 1. The D-backs need to capitalize on winning the series against the fire sale Giants to keep themselves in position for a wild card spot. Fact or Fouhy? Not bad.
Yeah, that's fact. I mean, it's fact. I mean, we all know where the D-backs are. They're one game below 500. They're way out of the wild card right now. 4.5 games back, I think, at last check. You got San Diego, Milwaukee, St. Louis Cardinals sitting right there. Then everybody else, the Phillies, the Pirates, the Reds, the Nationals. Then we get to the D-backs. So, yeah, they got a ways to go. It's early in the season now. And like I said, one game below 500, which is not bad considering we were hoping to get to where Corbin Burns came back in mid to late July, right? A.J. Puck, some of these guys coming back off the IL. So they're okay right now. They're not great, but they're not terrible.
Okay, question number 2. With the Spurs and Thunder in the Western Conference Finals, and they begin tonight, the Suns, and here's the key word, the Suns need to really upgrade the roster in order to compete next season. Fact or Fouhy?
Yeah, I mean, that's a fact, but how do you do that, right? They're still in that territory where financially they're kind of crunched. You don't want to get back into the tax situation, and certainly not the second apron, because then you're a 4 out of 5 year or 3 out of 4 year offender, and then you get penalized more. And so they've got to make things work within it. And that may mean we see Grayson Allen gone. It may mean that Mark Williams is gone. It may mean that Jalen Green is gone, depending on what they need to do. They've got to figure something out with a center. They've got to figure something out with a point guard. And they've got limited availability to do that. They have one pick in the second round, pick number 47. So, yeah, they've got a ways to go. But I'll tell you what, after what Brian Gregory did last summer, I'm giving the guy all the credit and giving him all the kudos heading into this summer, but they got a ways to go.
All right, touche. All right, question 3. We're doing pretty good. We all know the West is the best, at least Jimmy B in the NBA. So the winner of the West will easily win the NBA title. Easily. Fact or Fouhy?
Fact. Easily.
Easily.
Run away.
Really?
It's easy. Yeah, I don't see the Knicks. The Cavs had to fight, 7 games against the Pistons. The Knicks have been waiting there. I think the Knicks win that one. They may have a chance to upset the Knicks. The Cavs may, but I don't think they do. So you're going to have the Knicks in OKC or the Knicks in San Antonio. And I don't see the Knicks being that good of a basketball team right now to contend. So they may, the West will win it in either 5 or 6 games.
I'm with you on that, Fouhy. Okay, question 4. The 2 best words in all of sports. Game 7. We get that
on
tonight.
Prime.
Yeah,
on
man.
Prime.
Yeah, on Prime.
Montreal at Buffalo tonight.
Oh, there you go.
NHL playoffs.
Yeah.
All right. So with the NHL playoffs, and they've been spectacular so far, in the Valley, is the NHL still relevant? Fact or Fouhy?
Fouhy on that. I just don't think so. The Coyotes are gone, and we've looked at the numbers here. I know nationally that the NHL playoffs have done well. Locally, not so great. I think we had a very passionate Coyotes fan base here, and we all know this is a melting pot, right, Rock? People from all over the country move here to the Valley. They've got their allegiances to other teams from other cities. I work with some guys that are big Habs fans right now. I'm also across the street from some Sabre fans, so I'm caught in the middle listening to the battle back and forth. But I don't know that it's done real well here. in terms of dramatically improving ratings in Phoenix and Arizona. But they've been great playoffs. There's no question about it. The games have been awesome. The series have been great. And tonight we get a Game 7.
Yes, on Prime. All right, Fouhy. I think it's fair, and you would probably agree with me. The first 4 questions were pretty good, right? You would give them like a B plus. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, the last question is going to get us in the F range. Yeah.
Uh-oh.
All right, question number 5, last one from Jimmy B. The Cardinals have become the NFL's slump buster, or the Rodney Dangerfield's no respect factor. I mean, that would come out. Rodney Dangerfield. No one even knows who he is. Like, our producers have no clue who he is.
But Fouhy does.
Yeah, all right.
I tell you what, I get no respect here. Yeah, come on, Wang. Come on, Wang. Take some pictures. Come on, let's go. Listen, Rodney Dangerfield was a classic, iconic comedian, and there's still lines that I use. You know, somebody take my wife, please. Please. Yeah. But no, I mean, it's the Cardinals are the Cardinals, and I've said this to you guys forever. 7 winning seasons in 38 years here in the Valley. 7 winning seasons. Wow. 6 trips to the playoffs. 6 trips to the playoffs in 38 years. The Cardinals are the Cardinals. Vegas has them at 4.5 wins this coming season. They may go 0-11 to start this year with that schedule when you look at it. So yeah, they've become that team that everybody wants to play, right? It doesn't matter. Back in high school, it was like, hey, who do we have for homecoming? Hopefully it's an easy win, you know? And in college, it was like, who do we have in the rivalry? Oh, they're terrible this year. We'll take that. In the NFL, are the Cardinals on the schedule this week? Great. You know, I mean, I feel bad for Mike LaFleur. He comes in, takes his job. There's only 32 of them available in the world. He gets it. But this has been, let's be honest, this has been a coach's graveyard forever here in Arizona. Ken Wisenut lasted 6 years. Bruce Arians lasted 5 years. Everybody else, it's 4, 3, 2, 1. It's just been a tough place to coach. And this year's team isn't going to shock anybody, in my opinion.
Fouhy, up on our website, Arizona Sports, there's a report by Kevin Zimmerman about the Suns, and the headline says Suns will explore trading for first-round pick in draft. Now, they have the 47th pick right now.
Yeah.
Do you feel that trying to improve this team through the draft, or would you want to see them go out and through free agency?
I think now, personally, for me, I would like to see them find somebody in free agency. And we've talked about this forever. You need a point guard, but how many good ones are out there? How many point guards are out there, first of all? And how many really good ones are out there? And what's it going to cost you to get them? And I think in listening to Brian Gregory and Matt Ishbia at the season-ending thing here and Jordan Ott talking, I think it's about building something. Like, they want to develop players. They want to bring guys in. And that's Jordan Ott's specialty, right, is developing young guys. So they may be looking to find a pick there in the draft that they could grab and come in here, somebody that they really believe in. But, you know, it's going to be an uphill climb for the Suns at any rate. They got 45 wins this year. That was awesome, right? Got into the playoffs. Yep. They should have been a top 6 team had they been healthy long enough in the season to win an extra few games. But I just think they might look to the draft to build and develop somebody over the years. I would love to see them grab somebody out there on the free agent market, but at what cost?
Fouhy, there's a lot of talk. Obviously, Giannis is going to be the top draft guy. Well, they have no shot at him. However,
I wouldn't either. I wouldn't do it anyway if they had a shot.
Okay. However, my question to you is, there is a guy in New Orleans who finally got himself into shape, and when he finally did, he played pretty well for the Pelicans. They would like to rid themselves of one Zion Williamson. Would you take a flyer on him?
How long has Zion Williamson been in the league?
I think now it's 6 years.
Yeah, and how many years has he been healthy?
Just this year. Yeah,
one. Yeah,
that's
exactly.
It. I know.
He's a paper tiger, man. He's like made of glass.
Yeah, but he weighed 290 pounds, and now he's playing. But now he's playing at 250.
Well, he should have been doing that from the beginning.
I agree.
He wouldn't listen to anybody. He's lucky to still have a contract after what he went through in that situation. I just don't know if he's the answer to anything. Now, you know, they said that about Mark Williams, right? He's had an injury history. He's a guy that we can work on and get him healthy and get him back. But he was injured, you know, this year again and injured in the playoffs and didn't help him. And so you try those guys. And I think the only guy I can think of in the last 20 years was Grant Hill, a guy who had some history of injuries, and they came in here and they got him back on the court. But it's such a rarity in the NBA to get a guy, and even in the NFL, to get a guy that has been injured perennially and then get him back in here and get him healthy and think you're going to get something out of him. The question with Zion would be, how much do you have to give up to get him.
Yeah.
And what's it going to cost you? And I just don't know. I think they're more. If you listen to Ishbia and Brian Gregory at the end of the season, they're like, we like this team. We want to bring this team back. Well, we would too, but it's not going to happen, right? It's the NBA. You're not going to bring the whole team back. And so you've got to make some steps forward. You got to make some improvements. And what does that mean? I think they definitely keep Devin Booker and they keep Dylan Brooks. And beyond that, everybody's pretty much on the table to see what they can improve.
All right, Fouhy, what are we going to be watching tonight on ABC 15?
Well, I've got Colin Harmon is out at the Cardinals OTAs minus Jacoby Brissett.
Yeah.
Shocker.
He's going to have a story from Cardinal Land today, and then I'll be up at the Larry Fitzgerald Foundation, the final Fitz is Supper Club after 16 years. I'll be up there with Fitz, so we'll have that for you later on.
Nice. That's an awesome event.
That's great.
Awesome event.
Yes, it is.
Fouhy, as always,
I wish I could afford to go.
Yeah, me too. Thank you, buddy. Appreciate it.
You got it.
That's ABC 15's Craig Fouhy joining us here on the Right Toyota guest line with Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B. No Manuch. But we'll continue talking some NFL next. Jalen Hurts, he wins the Super Bowl. He's the MVP. Signs a $255 million contract. That was 14 months ago. Now, there are NFL executives that are openly talking about trading him after this season. You can't make this stuff up. We're going to break it down next. It's Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B, ESPN Radio Phoenix.
Nobody does happy hour like Twin Peaks. Nobody. Whatever you're craving, we got it. Tequila cocktails, premium bourbon pours, and top shelf spirits served over ice balls that hit just right. Local craft beers and handcrafted whiskey cocktails, yep, all here. And with 5 Valley locations. And don't forget the teeth-chattering 29-degree drafts we're famous for. Pair it all with scratch kitchen bites that actually satisfy. From shareables to hearty favorites. When it comes to happy hour, Twin Peaks doesn't play. Twin Peaks eats, drinks, scenic views.
You're invited to Vans Golf Shops by Worldwide Golf to get custom fit for the all-new Titleist GTS drivers. Find the perfect driver for your swing, helping you gain superior distance, accuracy, and speed by personalizing your performance. Be the first to have the new Titleist GTS drivers by booking or fitting in-store or online at worldwidegolf.com. Trusted by golfers since 1963 and home to the legendary 90-day 100% satisfaction guarantee. Vans Golf Shops by Worldwide Golf. Get there.
Rock for RightToyota.com. At Right Toyota, they'd like you to get to know them. Their goal is to make buying your next vehicle the kind of experience that earns your recommendation to family and friends. They invite you to use all their innovative web tools on RightToyota.com. So if you're looking for a new or pre-owned Toyota, head to their interactive website at RightToyota.com. The right price, the right selection, all at RightToyota.com.
Need to feed a crowd? Let Venencia's bring the flavor to your next event. We know you have a lot of options when feeding a large group. Ordering directly from Venencia's means you get the best service and the absolute best pricing. There's no per-person fee. Just tell us how many people you need to feed, and we'll come up with the perfect plan to ensure everyone's well-fed and happy. Grad party, office celebration, family reunion. Invite Venencia's to the table. Text catering to 411-24/7. That's catering to 411-247 or Venencias.com.
Living and having fun in the hot summer sun can turn deadly when mixed with stimulants. Stimulant drugs raise body temperature, impair the brain's ability to regulate heat, and makes it harder for the heart to cope with extreme heat. Studies show 1 in 5 heat-related deaths have involved meth, a stimulant that overheats the body, putting users at higher risk. Be aware and stay safe. Meth and heat is a deadly mix. Visit thenewmeth.com.
Sponsored by the Substance Awareness Coalition Leaders of Arizona.
Driving high can get you a DUI. Instead of getting behind the wheel, designate a sober driver or rideshare. In Arizona, drug-impaired driving is illegal, even if the drug is legal. So drive sober or not at all. In Arizona, there's zero tolerance for impaired driving, since drugs slow your reaction time and cloud your judgment. If you feel different, you drive different. Visit drivesober.az.gov to learn more. This message is sponsored by the Governor's Office of Highway Safety.
Now back to Roc and Manuch with Jimmy V. Now on ESPN 620.
Hurts has all day, loaded up, taking a shot, looking for A.J. Brown. He's got it. Touchdown. Hurts on the key. As a senior, and Jalen Hurts is in for the touchdown.
Reigning Super Bowl MVP, under contract through 2028, won a $255 million deal. And he is being floated by NFL executives as a potential trade chip after this upcoming season. Yeah, really. Now let's start here because the numbers are wild. And Cardinals fans, Jalen Hurts, that would be awesome.
That would be awesome.
Be absolutely freaking awesome. So listen carefully. 5-year extension worth $255 million, which he signed in 2023.
Okay.
100 and close to 180 is guaranteed. He signed through 2028. He's got 3 years, 150 plus remaining. 22 million guaranteed in 2027, activated this past March. If traded before June of 2027, the Eagles take a $2.9 million cap. If he's traded after, Eagles save $21.4 million on the cap.
Ooh.
Now, that cap math is identical to what's being reported with A.J. Brown right now. So the Eagles, will wait till June 1st because they'll save a bunch of money. Then they'll move that asset. But there are a lot of reports. ESPN, Jeremy Fowler, who's very respectable, dropped the bombshell over the weekend saying that Hurts, I could see getting traded, polarizing player, and his running ability starts to decline and his value will decline too. And Eagles GM Howie Roseman will always be proactive and find winning solutions. Dan Graziano on Get Up kind of said the same thing. Some other people are saying the thing, but this is interesting because this isn't just random. I mean, it's kind of a mess when you look at the Eagles last year. Their season was a mess. They still won 11-6 or went 11-6,
right.
Won the NFC West, got bounced in the wild card by a 49er team that was just depleted. And critics were calling for Sirianni. And if you remember, Kellen Moore was the OC when he had success and all this kind of stuff. But this is somewhat of a bombshell. And you wonder with a new offensive coordinator again, and Sean Mannion, excuse me.
Yeah, played at Oregon State.
I don't care. As a former Packers, I don't know why you always have to throw in the Northwest. You tree huggers love to mention and bring up anything that goes on in the Northwest.
If it's got bark on it, I'm in.
You're all over, and you're wearing your Birkenstocks today with socks, aren't you? But, Hurts has been hurt a little bit, right? I mean, he's been a little bit banged up. But the wild part is the Eagles have already – they drafted a quarterback this past, April.
Mm-hmm.
Cole Payton. He's a 5th-round pick. He's from one of the Dakotas, right?
Yep.
He could eventually be the starter down the road. But I wonder, one of the rumors out there is Jalen Hurts to the Texans for C.J. Stroud, straight up. I wonder if the Cardinals need to start getting into this. Would that be a play for them? Would you want a Jalen Hurts right now? I mean, guy's still a stud.
I would take Jalen Hurts in a heartbeat, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I love his game. He can throw it. He can run it. He is smart. He knows how to win. I would take him in an absolute heartbeat if he was available. So then I fire back at you, Roc. What do you say to people that think, well, they should just lose this year so that they can get one of those top QBs that's going to be coming out of college? Wait a minute. You're going to have a rookie if indeed Carson Beck is not your guy and you go draft Arch Manning. He's a freaking rookie. You're going to struggle for another 2 years. You're going to get an absolute, correct me if I'm wrong, wasn't he a Super Bowl winner as well? Wasn't he also a Super Bowl MVP? Look, this guy knows how to play, and could walk in and be your guy immediately.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to see them get rid of him. He's only 27 years old. He's got 3 Pro Bowls, 2 Super Bowl appearances, a win and a loss.
Yeah.
All right, maybe his running ability is declined a bit, but at least he's still running. He's still a polarizing guy. He's a top 10, top 15 quarterback in the league. I think you can make that argument. And their GM he's a solid GM in Howie Roseman, who is famous for for doing odd things. Nick Foles, Carson Wentz. I mean, Wentz himself was traded after the Super Bowl. I mean, this is just the way he does things there. But I do think if the Cardinals could somehow figure out how to make that work, if they are going to trade him, which I can't imagine that. But when you have multiple executives out there going on the record that they want to trade him after the season, first of all, why that leaked, if it did, is amazing to me, because if you are Jalen Hurts and you're going into the 2026 season knowing that the team wants to trade you, and the Philadelphia Eagles fan base will just go nuts on this, and once he struggles, if he does struggle the first quarter of the season,
right,
they're going to be going for the backups.
Well, they're the worst fans of all time.
No, they're not.
That's just they are. So
why would you say they're the worst fans? What makes them the worst fans?
They are.
Tell me reason. No, everybody says that. I want to know why you think they're the worst fans.
Because
they're passionate about their team.
I get
that they call out their ownership. They call out their freaking ownership, and they say, "Hey, let's get rid of this guy." Here, this soft of a fan base here.
He won a Super Bowl, and they still wanted him gone.
They are such a toxic fan base. It is crazy.
Toxic is one thing, but not the worst fan base. I would make an argument that
the best and most passionate, but the most toxic.
That's fine. But when you say they're the worst fan base, I mean, because they're passionate is such BS. Oakland or Vegas Raider fans, I mean, they had freaking. You go to a Raider game when it used to be in Oakland, and there's police everywhere, and they got those towers with guys with freaking, machine guns. I mean, it's like, come on. I mean, I don't know how you can say that. The worst. Would you say now you can rephrase it and say, hey, their fans are very passionate. It's a Philly thing. People don't get it.
Okay,
we don't care.
Yeah,
we don't care.
Yeah, it's a Philly thing. Okay, if it's a Philly thing, then they're the worst.
I just love the fact that it's a passionate fan base, that they let ownership know when they're making mistakes. There is no way the Cardinals, if this was Philly and Michael Bidwell owned the team, you think he'd still be the owner? Seriously,
he would have sold.
He wouldn't be able to tolerate the passion,
the abuse.
He's got no passion for fans here. There's just there's a core group that is.
Yeah.
Anyway, all right, we're going to get into something else. Still ahead, youth sports is a $40 billion industry, and Congress finally has said enough, naming names and a much more. Don't move. This is, if you got kids that play club sports, you want to hear this next.
This deer season, John Deere wants to give you the home field advantage. We're bringing you the best offers of the season, whether that's cash off on select new machines or a shot at the ultimate Major League Baseball prize package. Because right now, you can enter for a chance to win an MLB All-Star experience for you and 3 friends, complete with travel and lodging for All-Star Week this July. Deer season is going on now through June 3rd. Visit johndeere.com/deer season to enter and view the offers and complete contest rules. Major League Baseball trademarks used with permission.
Earn an accredited MBA in as few as 16 months for about $21K at University of Maryland Global Campus. Explore 10 specializations, including finance, HR, cyber technology, and more. Plus, showcase the value of your MBA with a comprehensive learner record and digitally demonstrate in-demand skills and credentials to employers. No application fee if you apply by June 1st. Learn more at umgc.edu. Certified to operate in Virginia by Shell.
Megan's grandfather bought his first Ranger here. Her dad bought his first F-150 here. And she just drove off the lot in a new Ford Expedition for her family. 3 generations, all choosing Sanderson Ford. Visit Sanderson during their anniversary sale and see why. Right now, purchase any new Ford and get a $500 Circle K fuel card on Sanderson. We have your first 5 tanks covered. When you're in the market for a new vehicle, choose the dealership families have been trusting for over 70 years. Choose Sanderson Ford. Not valid on fleet or AXZ or D-Plan purchases. Offer expires 5/31/26.
Hey everybody, Dan Bickley here with my guy Bear, one of the Henley brothers that owns and operates Waltz TV and Appliance. And right now, if you spend $100 or more at Waltz, you'll get a free Gemini boombox.
That's the same one you've got, right, Bick?
Yep, and I love it. It's portable, super loud, great bass, and it even floats. Perfect for the pool or backyard hangouts.
Free, floats, and ready for summer? That's a win.
Everybody wins when shopping at Waltz, which you can find off the I-10 at Warner and online online at waltz.com.
Let me remind you, Thursdays are where the weekend starts at Twin Peaks Restaurant. Grab an ice-cold Bud Light or a refreshing Michelob Ultra and catch wall-to-wall sports on massive TVs everywhere you look. Big games, cold beer, made from scratch food. Start your weekend early with Bud Light and Michelob Ultra. Thursdays at Twin Peaks. Eats, drinks, and scenic views.
Arizona's headquarters for Toyotas is Right Toyota. Hey, Rock, for my friends at Right Toyota in Scottsdale. You will always find the right deal at Right Toyota. Right Toyota has been driving Arizona's home for years with their amazing service, pricing, and great selections. I encourage you to discover the difference at Right Toyota. Make the right choice, Right Toyota, just off the 101 on Frank Lloyd Wright Boulevard, and always online at righttoyota.com. The right price, the right selection. Check out righttoyota.com.
KTAR AM Phoenix, Arizona's home for the worldwide leader in sports, is ESPN 620. Now back to Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B. Now on ESPN 620.
All right, a topic that hits home for a lot of you. Youth sports. Private equity and youth sports is where we're going to go. I'm going to hit you with a number. $40 billion. That's how big youth sports is in this country right now. Twice the annual revenue of NFL. Your kid's travel team, your daughter's club volleyball, the hockey rink your son's been skating at since maybe he was 4, and it's bigger than the NFL, twice over. Now, costs are up 46% from 2019. Now, the average price tag, $5,000 per kid per year. Mm-hmm. Some families paying $25,000. Lower income kids now participating in half the rate of wealthier families. Sports, of course, the great equalizer in America, is getting priced out of reach. So this week, Congress finally said they had enough. In a bipartisan bill, which dropped last week, and it's called Let Kids Play Act. And they named a villain. They named the villain, private equity, Wall Street. Same folks who bought up your nursing home, your vet clinic, your local hospital, they've been quietly buying up youth sports for the past decade. KKR paid $4.7 billion for varsity brands. IMG is private equity owned. We've all heard of IMG Academy. Yep. That's the guys who own the Sixers and the Commanders. They also own your kids' baseball. Now, what are they doing? It's called junk fees. 3,500 tuition bills will be a surprise. Will surprise charges, but you stay to play schemes where you book their hotel, our hotel, or your kid doesn't play. Those kind of deals. They have non-compete clauses banning your kid from any tournament like within 150 miles. They're harvesting all this data on 12-year-olds and 10-year-olds or whatever, and then they're reselling. So now I want to bring this home, because the Valley, we're fortunate that we have something the rest of the country should be looking at. And you guys know I work at Arizona Athletic Grounds in Mesa, and I'm not bringing that up as a plug at all. I'm just bringing it up because what just happened there this week is the whole counter argument to what I just laid out. We have the Turkey national men's team that is going to be training there on the biggest stage on the planet, the FIFA World Cup. And they picked AAG and picked Mesa as their official base camp. Out of hundreds and hundreds of facilities across North America, they picked here. There's a community day on June 8th. Valley kids can watch them train, get autographs, and meet free. That is what youth sports is supposed to be about. Community-focused, mission-driven. Kids get access, kids get experience versus with the Wall Street model, where the goal is to extract every last dollar out of a single mom or single dad that's trying to keep their kid in club soccer. We took the most American thing there is, kids playing sports, and let some of it turn into a luxury good. These kids are getting squeezed out, and they aren't the rich kids either. And and it's the working class kid. It's a single parent household, and it's being told they got told to tell their child, "Sorry, I couldn't afford it this year." So I look at this and I don't know how you're going to fix it, but this bipartisan bill hopefully will be the start of something. We all hate that the government gets involved in politics, but this may be one that makes some sense. And I don't know how long this is going to take to turn this thing around, but it's sad when you are making your kid and parents stay at a particular hotel, or you can't play in a tournament outside a certain radius. And a single parent just can't do it, Jimmy. And it's just, I think when I saw the story, I'm like, man, I'm glad that at least in our backyard, we have a facility that's not private equity owned.
Right.
It's local. It's locally owned. And then some people out of state that are partners in this, but they believe in the fact that, have world-class fields, year-round programming, partnerships with a city of Mesa and visit Mesa, where you're growing the local marketing or the local economy, I should say, through local dollars. But when these private equity companies come in, it's not about that at all.
They have taken advantage of exactly what they felt that they could make, millions and millions of dollars, and they have done it. And to be honest with you, look, you know me, I'm not a big fan of government jumping into sports or anything like that. But to be honest with you, I don't know who else could have gotten involved in this and tried to curb it, because the cost amount is just skyrocketing. And I hope this works. I don't know how it's going to be policed. I'm waiting to find out if this will be a workable solution. And you hit the nail on the head where you talked about it is working folks whose kids are participating the most in sports and club teams, and it's a struggle. And I can tell you from having two boys who played everything from football to hockey to baseball to tennis, and I was running all over the planet taking them to all of these different events, and it was expensive. But why did I do it? I'll tell you why. Because I love my kids, and I knew that's what they wanted to do, and I wanted to make sure that they had every opportunity to at least experience everything that they wanted to, and then make a decision.
I think, club sports has just gotten out of hand, and we know that.
Yeah.
But youth sports is, like I said, a $40 billion industry. And it's unfortunate that for those that have facilities throughout the country, the average person maybe just assumes that the club tournaments are attached in some cases to the actual facility. In most cases, like 75% out at Arizona Athletic Grounds is a third-party rental.
Mm-hmm.
They are renting the facility to make money to host their events. And I think some people, parents, whatever, will get frustrated that why would they charge for parking? Why would they charge for XYZ for this and that? And for, why does it cost, $5 for a Coke or $4 for a water, whatever? I mean, obviously, to have a facility that big and to have a world-class facility that has these amazing amenities, you have to pay for that. There's labor that goes involved.
That's
There's
right. Yeah.
air conditioning that needs to be paid for. And, it's a big undertaking.
Yes, it is.
But, club sports are just gotten so overpriced, and the people that are running these club sports are making a lot of money.
I can tell you this just from being a dad. Of course, it's long ago now since I'm 92. Where we would travel for hockey, and both my boys, one was a goalie, one was a center, and they would play in different locations because of the age difference. You had to pay the building for ice time.
Oh, yeah.
Still doing it. Yeah, and you had to buy your hockey equipment. I'm buying hockey equipment for a goalie. Do you know how expensive that is? And then the other boy is a center, and he's got to have a certain kind of stick and certain kind of skate so he can be fast and make quick cuts. I mean, it just goes on and on, Rock. And this is like 40 years ago when I was doing this with my boys, and it has changed now so dramatically with what you just talked about. And I've talked to people who I've hung out at refreshment stands, and they're talking about their kids and how they have to go on the road and travel to Salt Lake City, or they're going to Las Vegas for a big tournament. Well, that's gas, that's hotel rooms, that's food, it's the price of admission, and who knows what else. And it is just really just gone off the charts. I hope whatever they are putting together, as I mentioned before, I don't like the government messing like that, but something has to be done. And I hope this works, to be honest with you.
Yeah, it just, I don't know what they can do.
Yeah.
I mean, it's open enterprise.
Yeah,
you want to be able to do what you want. Yeah, it's capitalism. And you know, I don't know. I don't know what the answer is. Maybe there's some people out there that know, but I just have not been able to kind of figure it out. I just know I believe youth sports is recession proof. I believe you're gonna give up everything else to make sure that your son or daughter can play sports or do whatever that is. Yep. And it was clear in COVID, when COVID hit, I mean, there still was a lot of youth sports still going on, you know, obviously with a lot of challenges and restrictions, but it still was big. And I wonder if this bill, which was originally adopted by a bunch of Democrats that basically had kids that were playing sports, and then knocked some sense into some of the Republicans, and they created a bipartisan bill, which is great to hear.
I agree.
That you had a bipartisan
really
bill.
happens,
Doesn't happen very often. You're right, and that was good to see. And we'll have to just keep an eye on it. But we are seeing these private and equity guys, these Wall Street investors. They're smart people. They are very smart people. But when you're seeing, you know, IMG Academy in Florida, owned by private equity, that was a $1.25 billion deal.
Wow.
3 Step Sports, which runs 1,800 club teams across 9 sports, private equity. Unrivaled Sports, which owns Cooperstown All-Star Village. Cal Ripken Baseball, Diamond Nation, was co-founded by Apollo's Josh Harris and Blackstone's Dave Blitzer, which are both owners of professional sports teams like the Sixers and the Commanders and Devils. And then how about this? Black Bear Sports Group, 47 ice rinks across 11 states.
Wow.
Private equity. So we'll have to see how this all plays out. I'm interested to see what happens, but stay tuned. So, all right, still ahead. Aaron Rai, ranked 44th in the world, just shocked the entire planet at the PGA Championship. I want to get a little bit into that, as well as we'll tap a little bit into the D-backs, and then Frank Sanders. It's Roc and Manuch, Jimmy B, ESPN Radio Phoenix.
May is loaded at Twin Peaks, and there's no better place to catch every big game, fight, and playoff moment. Get wall-to-wall TVs, made from scratch food, and ice-cold beer served at 29 degrees. Plus, mark your calendar for Customer Appreciation Day, Tuesday, May 19th, featuring a burger and fries special with the purchase of any beverage, championship matchups, title fights, international action, and the best seat in the house. It's all happening this month at Twin Peaks.
Bigger fields, bigger events, bigger experiences. Arizona Athletic Grounds. Arizona Athletic Grounds is a 275-acre sports and entertainment destination for athletes, fans, and families. Located in Mesa, AAG is one of the largest multi-sport complexes in the country, with over 475,000 square feet indoors and more than 150 fields and courts. From tournaments to training to cheer, dance, concerts, and corporate events, the Grounds does it all. Learn more at azgrounds.com.
Hey, Arizona State football fans, London is calling. The Sun Devils are headed across the pond to face Kansas in the inaugural Union Jack Classic, September 19th at Wembley Stadium. It's the first college football game ever played there, and you should be part of it. For tickets, hospitality, and travel packages, visit UnionJackClassic.com or contact the Sun Devil ticket office. Join Coach Dillingham, Sparky, and the Sun Devils in London. Forks up.
Let me remind you, Thursdays are where the weekend starts at Twin Peaks Restaurant. Grab an ice-cold Bud Light or a refreshing Michelob Ultra and catch wall-to-wall sports on massive TVs everywhere you look. Big games, cold beer, made from scratch food. Start your weekend early with Bud Light and Michelob Ultra. Thursdays at Twin Peaks. Eats, drinks, and scenic views.
The best defense is a good offense at Studs Against Bugs. Our Tri-Guard technology attacks pests at the source and keeps a barrier around your home year-round. Scorpions, shut down. Ants, pinched. Spiders, game over. Right now, new customers get their first treatment for just $99, a $229 value. No contracts. Call or text 480-670-4529. Or visit studsagainstbugs.com. Studs Against Bugs, defending the valley one home at a time.
You're invited to Vans Golf Shops by Worldwide Golf to get custom fit for the all-new Titleist GTS drivers. Find the perfect driver for your swing, helping you gain superior distance, accuracy, and speed by personalizing your performance. Be the first to have the new Titleist GTS drivers by booking and fitting in-store or online at worldwidegolf.com. Trusted by golfers since 1963 and home to the legendary 90-day 100% satisfaction guarantee. Vans Golf Shops by Worldwide Golf. Get there.
Now it's time for a replay rewind. The top sounds of the night and whatever Rock decides to add. Let's get to it in replay rewind with Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B on ESPN 620 and on FM at 98.7 HD2.
All right, you're going to have to listen to Steve Dalby at 1:15 earlier today if you want to hear about Aaron Rye. So I teased that we were going to talk about Aaron Rye.
Yeah, you
but
did. Yeah.
Obviously, our producer was not listening.
Well, there is a cut there.
Oh, there it is.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, so let's just
So
fire
you're
off.
okay. You
all
go
right,
ahead
all
and
right.
tease it. Yeah, you're
all
good.
right. So here's Aaron Rye. As I just ordered 2 gloves now. I got a right and a left now.
Yeah.
So I'm ready to go.
Yeah. I wear when it gets really hot here and it's humid because I just sweat bullets. So I'm like Tommy Gaines, 2 guns, two gloves, Tommy Gaines.
Well, so is Aaron Rye. That's the whole point. Why
Yeah,
if there's somebody else's name?
Well,
Nobody knows
because
who
he
that
was
is.
the guy who started it.
He did?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, here's that 70-foot putt to win the PGA.
Unbelievable. This was a knockout blow.
Take a bow. Aaron Rye.
68 with and a little more down for the pin. This is mammoth.
It was mammoth. It was awesome.
And you know, being a Philly guy.
Yeah, I know.
Aaron Rye, an Englishman.
Yeah.
Soft-spoken. Never won a major before.
Mm-hmm.
He wins the championship at the Mink, which is a suburb of Philadelphia. And his first move at the trophy ceremony is to declare himself an Eagles fan, which started the Eagles chant on 18. Their Eagles fans just lost their mind. That's passion.
That
I
is
know you're
great.
making fun of me as a Philly fan earlier.
But I think that's
but
great.
That's something this town, we talk about it almost
Yeah.
once a week, that we do not have an identity for our sports teams.
So if you would have said, "Hey, I'm an Arizona Cardinal fan," he would have got
Boo.
crickets.
You're like, what?
What? Who?
But what a brilliant move on his
Yeah.
part to have I don't know, just to do that was just, I mean, there was roughly, they got about 200,000 fans that came out. I mean, there hasn't been a PGA championship at the Mink since 62. That has been a major since I was there in Marion in 2013. But, you know, I mean, for Rye to, you know, to talk about that and all the Go Bird chants throughout the four rounds, it's kind of cool. I mean,
like
it's just, I mean, you watch it on television, you see all the golf attire, which is basically all in Eagles green, you know, and but it was kind of fun, you know, not fun, but it was kind of interesting to see how the folks handled Rory McIlroy.
Yeah.
And
that didn't go as well.
That didn't go quite as well. So you got to take the good with the bad, right? So I don't know. Anyway, so some other sound from the weekend. I think we want to highlight, Corbin Carroll. Of course, 2 home runs yesterday. Here are those 2.
Here's the 2-1. Carroll swings, drills it high and deep to right. Going back, Johnston, take a look. That thing is in the bullpen, and Carroll gets his 6th of the season, and the D-backs take a 5-0 lead. First pitch, oh my goodness, look at this one go. A rocket to right, and the second home run of the day for Corbin Carroll.
Hey, look, he's the face of that franchise, like it or not. He is the best player on that team, like it or not. And he is also the guy who can be the poster child for the Diamondbacks. And he needs to play like this. Look, does he have to hit bombs every night? No. But he is the most exciting player on that team, especially when he rips one into the gap and he stretches a double into a triple. The guy has great ability. I'll tip my cap to Ken Hendrick and what he did. They went out and signed him to that 10-year deal, Rock, and he so far is delivering on that contract. And I believe that he will get better as this season goes on. He's kind of really found himself right now. And people are going to say, well, he was hitting in Denver. It's a mile high and a pop fly is going to fly out. Okay, I get that. But he's been doing this ever since the season began. And remember, he injured his hammock bone.
Yeah.
I can't even tell you what the hell a hammock bone was.
Did you? Yeah, because one of the first games as you as a kid was Operation, right?
Yeah.
Remember that game, Operation?
Yeah.
That was something that was your ear, wasn't it?
Oh, no, I was like 32 then.
Oh, okay. I remember that being a great game. That's how you learned all that as a kid, right? Playing Operation.
I don't think hammock bone was connected to the Operation game.
You're probably right.
Yeah.
All right. Here's Torey Lovello also saying he's honored to watch Corbin Carroll do his thing.
It was great. It was great to watch. I'm just honored to have a front row seat to what he does every year on a baseball field. And, sometimes this game is hard and you just got to take the good with the bad, and you're going to grind through those moments with him where it doesn't look so easy, but 2 really, really nice swings. The second one for me was very, very impressive. So overall, every run was needed today. Corbin was fantastic. And I always feel like when he's checking off certain pitches in certain parts of the zone that he's starting to hone in on you. And that's what happened today for sure.
I agree with that statement. It's what I just talked about. He has gotten so much better now at understanding his craft and where his pitch contact point is. That's so important in baseball for a hitter to understand, look, I make the best contact if it's knees to waist and it's on the inside of the plate, or I make the best contact from the belt up to my letters on my jersey, and it's on the outside corner of the plate. I can push it the opposite way. It is so important for hitters to learn where their best contact point is, and I believe he has finally found it.
And then finally, when it comes to the D-backs, we'll go back to Friday night on Merrill Kelly's complete game. Here's what manager Torey Lovello had to say after the game.
It was a great moment. It was a great moment for him. And he had a lot of things going in his favor. I thought there was a lot of swing and miss with secondary stuff. He still had gas in the tank. He was making statements with a 92, 93 mile an hour fastball in the 9th inning. So this is what you work hard for in the off season. This is what you work hard for as you're prepping for moments like this, so you can go out there and finish it and throw a CG. It doesn't happen a lot in baseball anymore, but he did a great job today.
I mean, really impressive that he did it in Mile High Stadium as well. Even more impressive
I would
that
agree.
he did it there. Okay. I'm good with that. Look, he's another guy who is kind of stumbling around a little bit, but maybe finally, he's starting to get back to the Merrill Kelly that we saw just 2 years ago.
So Knicks and Cavs, 2 East teams nobody picked to be here in October. Wide open conference final. And then on the other side, of course, Oklahoma City. They've been sitting around for, 2 months? And we'll have we'll be sitting ready for San Antonio, which locked it all down. But the Cavs, I mean, I thought Detroit, for them to collapse like they did, I'm surprised.
They pooped the bed.
31 at home?
They pooped
That
the
will
bed.
sting the entire summer. Think about that. I mean, you don't think?
No, I agree.
Oh, okay.
I
You're
agree.
nodding your
Look,
head there.
it's one thing to get beat because somebody has to win and somebody's going to lose. But if indeed you lose by 5 or 10 or 15, at least in your mind, okay, we got beat, you can somewhat justify it. But when you are blown out of your socks by the Cleveland Cavaliers, a team that won its first road game in Detroit in overtime just a few days prior, and you have home court and you poop the bed that bad, I mean, it was awful. Your star player, Cade Cunningham, scores 13 points. This is a dude who was up for league MVP. He was in that conversation, and you got nothing. I mean, nothing from this guy. They are going to have to do some soul searching. Now, I will say this about their coach in Bickerstaff, J.B. Bickerstaff. I like him too. He's done a great job. And just go back 3 years, and this team was just a toilet, ready to be flushed. He has done a spectacular job in turning the franchise around.
I am sure Adam Silver does not want to see an OKC Cleveland final.
No, I'm sure of that.
I mean, not that you and I give a you-know-what about ratings, but it'll be talked about.
Yes.
Of course, New York people will tune in because it's New York, Madison Square Garden, but OKC and Cleveland, two very small markets.
Yeah.
That won't be good, I'm sure. But, all right. I'm rooting for Cleveland, just because
I like them
family's
too.
from Cleveland. But
I did their games, so I like them. Whose games haven't I done?
Exactly. And by now, 7 years doing this with Manuch and I, we know you've been a play-by-play guy. Why do you always have to tell us?
Because I was there when they had World Be Free.
Did we ask
Brad
you?
Doherty.
He was also. I used to watch World Be Free when he played for the Sixers.
I know you did. Yeah.
How do you know? I never told you that.
You didn't call his name.
No, I never. No, I didn't need to call his game. I used to call his game when I was. I used to call his name when I was playing in the backyard because I'd be World Be Free and I was a gunner. Because remember World Be Free, just put him up anywhere and everywhere. Right?
He get off the bus. He was
shooting. Right. All right, we got Twin Peaks ESPN Radio 620 Sports Center update with Laz, and then we'll catch up with Frank Sanders.
It's now time for your Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B's ESPN 620 Sports Center update. I'm Matt Lazarus. The D-backs took 2 or 3 from the Rockies over the weekend, highlighted by a stellar outing from Merrill Kelly, who tossed his first complete game of his career Friday night at Coors Field. Arizona now looks to carry that momentum into a 3-game set with the Giants at Chase Field. First pitch tonight is at 6:40, with pregame coverage beginning at 6 on 98.7 FM, also streaming live on the Arizona Sports app. There's no better place to catch every big game, fight, and playoff moment than Twin Peaks. Get wall-to-wall TVs, made from scratch food, and ice-cold beer served at 29 degrees. Plus, mark your calendar for tomorrow because it's Twin Peaks Customer Appreciation Day at all 5 locations. All locals will feature a burger and fries special with the purchase of any beverage. Twin Peaks Customer Appreciation Day tomorrow at all 5 Valley locations.
Fight fans, Twin Peaks is your headquarters. Catch the greatest fight night action all month long, including premium matchups and wall-to-wall sports with no bad seat in the house. Grab made-from-scratch food, scenic views, and ice-cold beverages served at 29 degrees while every punch, takedown, and main event plays across the lodge. Don't watch the fight at homes. Watch them at Twin Peaks, where the energy feels like fight night. Twin Peaks, eats, drinks, scenic views.
I was in a wreck. I need a check.
I was in a wreck. I need a check.
I was in a wreck. I need a check.
I'm Attorney Kevin Rowe. Getting rear-ended once is bad enough. Don't let the insurance company hit you again with a lowball offer. Call an experienced attorney who knows how to fight and win. Call Lerner and Rowe today. 977-1900.
So where you go on 977-1900.
When it comes to your roof, you don't want to mess around. And Arizona homeowners and business owners have known that for over a decade. State 48 Roofing is Arizona's #1 referred roofer. Residential, commercial, they do it all. And they've been doing it right here in the Valley for over 10 years. Protect your home, protect your business. And hey, keep your roof sexy with State 48 Roofing. Visit state48roofing.com. or call 480-268-4509. State 48 Roofing, Arizona's most trusted roof.
Mom, where are my keys?
Why do I have to take out the garbage? I'm too sick to go to school.
If you're having a hard time living with all the noise, it's even harder to live without it. One fake fentanyl pill could cost your child their life. Learn how to talk to your kids at talknowaz.com. This message is sponsored by Substance Awareness Coalition Leaders of Arizona.
Social connection keeps your brain strong. So does a challenge. When you stay socially and mentally active, your mind stays engaged, and you might even lower your risk of dementia. Learn something new, pick up a hobby, or catch up with a friend. Up to 40% of dementia cases could be prevented or delayed by addressing risk factors like loneliness and inactivity of the mind. Explore alz.org/healthy habits for more tips. This message is sponsored by the Alzheimer's Association and the Arizona Department of Health Services.
Pima JTED doesn't just work for students, it works for all of Arizona. Hands-on training, real-world skills, high school students become job-ready, and Arizona businesses get the talent they need to thrive. Without a skilled workforce, Arizona can't grow. But with Pima JTED graduates, our entire economy prospers. Join the businesses already investing in Arizona's future. Learn more at PimaJTED.org. That's PimaJTED.org. This message is sponsored by Potoff Private Philanthropy.
He played 8 seasons with the Arizona Cardinals. The Sandman.
It is called touchdown Auburn. Sanders got it. Touchdown Auburn. Frank Sanders from the Auburn's ahead.
Frank Sanders joins Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B. right here on ESPN 620.
All right, Frank Sanders now on the right side of the guest line. Frank, the national media is calling the Cardinals the punching bag of the league. Is that would that be motivation, or maybe that's kind of the truth right now?
Well, I mean, when you look at their schedule and then you look at their record from last year, and then you say you gave them no breaks, you didn't cut any, you gave them no opportunities per se with the ranking of the schedule. And so, yeah, it seems fitting that you would think that, but in reality, that locker room over there doesn't think that at all. They think that they welcome all comers and they want the challenge.
Well, I understand that aspect of it. I mean, if you're a competitor, that's the way that you should be thinking about it. But you know how fan bases react, and even the Cardinal fan base, just talking to some of those folks, they really think that, not that they got shafted, but they think they got shafted, Frank, by the schedule makers. Did they?
Well, look, for all the grandmas out there that got sons playing, I understand. But the reality is that here's a good thing about this, right? So,
okay.
And Jimmy, and we can look at it both ways. The players got to play, and the fans got to defend their court. And so reality is that the Broncos, the Raiders, the Jets, the Rams, Seattle, Philly, Washington, and the Lions are coming. So Red Sea and big Bird Gang, y'all got to come ready to fight, because your home turf is going to be infiltrated with, those fan bases travel just as well as the team does. And so guess what? Bring your butts to the stadium. Get ready to scream and yell for your team, whatever the record looks like, because those fan base travel. So Jimmy B, you're absolutely right. The fan base have the reason, they have a gripe to hold, because they know that if they don't come to show up for their team, those fan bases will be taking over their stadium, and that should not be accepted, because they travel just as well. So guess what? Bring your butts to the stadium. Get ready for the fight, just like the players got to.
Yep.
And then come show up for your team, and that's the purpose of being a fan. And the schedule is ugly. It doesn't look great on paper, but the reality is that players got to still play, and anything can happen when a team gets hot.
All right, first, with 6 of their first 9 games on the road, 0 primetime games. I have to do this, Frank. And you can plead the fifth. You can just say, hey, I'm an ambassador, but you're a straight up guy, right? Would you agree? You're a straight up guy?
Yeah, absolutely, 100%. That.
So what's the over under for Mike LaFleur's first season? Is it 5.5 wins or fewer, or 6.5 wins or more? 5.5 wins or fewer, or 6.5 wins or more? From the schedule, on paper. I mean, your quarterback doesn't even want to go to OTOs. So, okay, OTAs.
Well, our quarterback's not going to OTOs for reasons, but we're going to let's look at this here. Okay. We haven't seen Mike LaFleur's. We haven't seen him. We haven't seen his offense. We don't know what that looks like. We don't know what the defense is going to look like per se. So give me this question right after the first 2 or 3 preseason games, and then. And that week, then I have a great prediction for you because I don't know right now what does his offense look like. What does he run with it? And so that's kind of fair. You can say that the pundits out there they have a right to say what they're saying because they've never seen. This is a new head coach with a quarterback that has proven himself in the last 7 games of the season. But the reality is that every other team that they're playing in the first 9 games they're playing are pretty much with quarterbacks that are, they're staple. They're solid quarterbacks in the NFL. So it doesn't look good on paper, but until I see his offense and what he's able to do with his team, then I can give you my best guesstimation at that time.
Frank, he's got DraftKings on speed dial. He was hoping to get inside information so he could make that call.
I'm not mad at him. I'm pretty sure this is a good time, honestly, if you got a couple bucks to go ahead and throw it out there. Because, look, anything can happen. Like I told you guys earlier, I like our draft. I like the picks that we got in the draft. The last 3 drafts, I like what we got on the table. I think we did a really good job in the offseason. I think Monty and the team put together some good guys and brought in some plug and play veterans that they can bring into the team. We need to see what Jacoby's going to look like. I mean, if he's going to be our starting quarterback, they need to get that deal done so we can get true reps with the first team. I know we got voluntary camps. You know what camp looks like. Camp is only for competition, competence, and camaraderie. That's basically what it is. The guys go out and got to compete. You got to see what guys know and how well they can learn, how competent they are, and they got to create some camaraderie with this team. But you need that when you have all your players in camp trying to play and get on this new offensive system they got.
So as I look at this schedule and I see the top teams in the NFC West, and the 3 same teams are there. Seattle, defending Super Bowl champion. 49ers, playoffs. Rams, playoffs. Had a chance to be in the Super Bowl. And right now, they are the favorite to be in the Super Bowl. Is this a rebuild for this new coaching staff, Frank, that is at least 2 years, maybe 3?
I wouldn't say that per se. I mean, because I think in the veteran quarterback that we have guys who have played with the quarterback under the leadership of the quarterback. Of course, we have a new coach, but we do have, for the most part, the offensive players that were the bigger parts of last season still there. They just got to go through a whole new program of learning, a new system. But we know what these guys can do if they're healthy and when they go out and play offensively. Defensively, I mean, getting guys back healthy from injuries, that's of course the number one part. But I still see talent on this team. Again, that to me, myself, I'm saying, like, if I'm in this locker room, which I'm talking to you guys like I'm in this locker room, I'm looking around and I think I got players. I know what you're saying about those other teams, and they haven't lost anybody for the most part. This isn't a wash, rinse, and repeat league where it just happens and you just say Seattle's going to be the champion because you've just said San Francisco is supposed to be the champions. And so that means they got to knock out the Rams, who has Stafford. They got to knock out the defending champs. And I think that is that's a big ask for San Francisco considering the division they're in. So I'm not going to put down the Cardinals right now because I look at my locker room. We got young talent. We got players that can make plays from offense and defense. We just got to kind of figure out how this team plays 4 quarters of football and how does the coach 4 quarters of football. We went through this same little, what you say rebuilding phase with JG when JG got in here. But remember, JG's first quarterback as the head coach was Joshua Dobbs. because Kyler was still hurt.
That's right.
We don't want to watch this thing matriculate all the way until the first game of the season, where Jacoby Brissett finally signs a 4-year, $80 or $90 million $120 million contract. We had to wait this long while we watch, Minshew go through the entire camp and preseason. We don't want to do that. That's not, I would say, the best thing for the locker room, the best thing for the fan base in itself. So I'm pretty sure they'll get that deal done, or they'll get something done at the quarterback helm and figure that thing out. But it doesn't look good on paper. But the reality is that I look in this locker room, there's talent there. The new stud, Jeremiah Love, he can do everything and anything. And we want to see all of that stuff come to pass when you have all your players. If you don't have that, Roc, then we got a gripe, and we need to make sure we put our bets in the right way.
A lot of talk over the weekend, late last week. Some executives are openly floating the idea of trading Jalen Hurts after the upcoming season. Your thoughts, how great it would be to see a Jalen Hurts who's 27 years old in an Arizona Cardinal uniform?
Yeah, stop making me smile, man. Cut that out. When you say his name, when you say his name, put SB on it. Super Bowl champ.
Yes, and MVP.
MVP Super Bowl champ. They went from Sam Darnold, like who, what, and why, to Super Bowl champ Sam Darnold. Mm-hmm. And you got the same thing. You say Jalen Hurts, Super Bowl champ Jalen Hurts. Now, you're not going to this guy's healthy. He's able to get it done. Like, that's all that shenanigans of what we expect him to be, this superior quarterback throwing for 500 yards, 200 over the middle of the field, 6 touchdowns every game, no interceptions, and the Green and the Philadelphia Eagles never lose. That ain't happened. That's football, because you got whining wide receivers on the outside and defensive guys that got hurt. That's not the game. But you cannot take away the knowledge and the competence of what he's been able to do in the NFL. So if you get a chance to get somebody as young, as talented, to bring him into your system, absolutely I'd be excited about it. He's able to get it done for one team. You think he can't do it for us? That in my mindset says the expectation of quarterbacks outside of Tom Brady and Patrick Mahomes we have a false expectation of what they're supposed to be doing. This guy's been able to get it done for his team. I think he can do the same thing over here if he's available.
Okay, let's just say the Eagles are wheeling and dealing. They want a couple first-round picks, a second-round pick. They want Harrison Jr. They want McBride. Who else do they want? You're going to give them the whole team. Well, let's be honest. What's the most important position in football? Right, it's the quarterback. Yeah. And what is it the Cardinals have needed is a superstar quarterback. What would you be okay? You got to give up something to get something. So what would you be open to when it comes to at least the player side? We know picks are a big deal, and the Cardinals, at least on paper, they don't have a favorable schedule and a favorable team to win a lot of games, so they will probably have a top 5 pick. Where would you want to go with that? Would you want to keep that first round pick and get one of these quarterbacks coming out of this year, college, or would you want something like an MVP?
If it's just the first, I'll give it. But I can't give up Trey Marvin. I can't give Trey Marvin and Roc up. I can't do that. I got to keep Roc here in Arizona. I can't. You're asking for too much. If you said just Marvin Harrison and maybe Trey McBride, I'd do it, but not Roc. You got to take Roc. It's just Roc. I couldn't. That's too much compensation for one quarterback. But the reality is that you're absolutely right. They need a starting quarterback. They need a quarterback they can trust and a bona fide starting quarterback. But if you give up so many star players for one quarterback, that in itself would be a challenge. They went and got Carson Beck, so I'm pretty sure they're going to wait to see what he looks like in camp and how well he handles it with the first unit. If Jacoby's not here, that's going to be a conversation piece to have. Carson Beck is a mature quarterback. He's 26 years old. He's played a lot of football. He's got a lot of football on his belt. Can he handle it? Can Mike coach him up and say, hey, man, I think I can do something with him in the first year? He's going to be smart. He's going to run our system effective. He has a good arm. And if he says that, then it becomes a conversation where, Jacoby, we might not have to sign you because we've seen some good things out of our young rookie quarterback. He seems like he can run the offense. So those things are still on the table because we got Carson Beck. And that in itself says, Jalen Hurts would be a nice pick to bring up into any team, right? Any addition to any team, because every coach offensive coordinator knows he's capable of running and running a team and running an offense for 17 weeks. That in itself is not an easy job, but I wouldn't be mad with giving up a first round pick for Jalen Hurts if he was available.
I think you made a terrific point about Carson Beck that most people don't. Really? Yeah.
Terrific
Yeah.
point.
Yeah,
Frank made a terrific point.
He did because
a good point.
No, he made a terrific point.
All right, he's buttering you up. He wants some free golf.
Well, that's true. About Carson Beck, when you said he's 26 and he's played 5 years of college football. And I think people forget about that because Roc talked about the quarterback class coming out next year. All of those guys have not played the amount of football that Carson Beck has played.
You're absolutely right on that. We got to take notation also. They're like, look, San Francisco's quarterback was Mr. Irrelevant.
Yeah.
I mean, he was coached and tutored by one of the greatest, mentors in Manuch. I'm choking up trying to say that. Excuse me, guys.
Dude, by the way, Frank, he's been off for a while because he's getting a nose job.
Yeah, well, you're not. That's not true.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Why else would he be out for 3 weeks? Why else? Seriously, if you found out, if seriously, listen to this, Frank. If you're an employer and your guy told you, hey, if for personal reasons I'm going to be gone for 3 weeks, what else could it be? We all knows that thing. We all know how big that nose is. And we know that if you get a nose job, you have black and blue, you can't be out in public. So you need to be kind of hiding for a while. So for 3 weeks, he doesn't come back until after Memorial Day. He's been gone for a long time. It's the nose. It's got to be the nose. He's been talking about it. He knows it's so big, and he needed to kind of get that thing carved out.
So big. I know you go to India or Turkey for hair plugs, but I'm not sure you go to Italy for a nose job.
All right, we're gonna leave you with that, Frank. All right, buddy.
Frank, that's great.
I'm telling you, man. I just hope it, like Jimmy B said earlier. Like, I hope he didn't go to the same doctor that freaking Michael Jackson went to, right?
Oh God, that's a bad looking nose.
Job.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Bye, Frank. See you, buddy. Love you. See you, Frank. That's Frank Sanders joining us here on Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B. You can follow him on Twitter, X, all that. Just look up Frank Sanders 81. All right. We had Coach Steve Peters on the program. He's been with the Yotes for a very, very long time. He works for ESPN now. And he joined us, and we asked him about Shane Doan and bringing hockey back to Arizona. We're going to bring back what he had to say in our Learner Row 1 call. It's pretty interesting, as that is next. It's Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B here on ESPN Radio.
When it comes to sushi, reputation matters, and Sushi Brokers Arcadia has built theirs on being the best sushi in Arizona. From traditional rolls to bold fusion creations, like our crowd favorite, Seafood Dynamite, and the must-try sushi pizza. We've got something for everyone. Our famous happy hour is every day from 3 to 6:30 with fresh favorites like the California roll, spicy tuna roll, and the surf and turf roll topped with seared steak. Sushi Brokers Arcadia, 44th Street in Indian School.
Rock for WrightToyota.com. At Wright Toyota, they'd like you to get to know them. Their goal is to make buying your next vehicle the kind of experience that earns your recommendation to family and friends. They invite you to use all their innovative web tools on WrightToyota.com. So if you're looking for a new or pre-owned Toyota, head to their interactive website at WrightToyota.com. The right price, the right selection, all at WrightToyota.com.
The NFL schedule dropped and it's time to settle up. There's road trips to plan, hotels to book, tickets to split, tailgates to cover, scores to settle, all the things for the season. But now when you send $10 or more to a friend with PayPal by May 28th, you could win 2 tickets to every home game of your favorite team. Yep, the whole season. Visit paypal.com/P2P sweeps. No purchase necessary. See website for details, including how to enter by mail. Brought to you by PayPal, official peer-to-peer payment sponsor of the NFL.
Okay, class, let's begin.
Psst, love your boots. I just sold a pair like that on eBay.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it took like 2 seconds to list and they sold almost immediately. I've been selling everything lately. Some chunky boots, a faux fur coat I never wore, and a vintage chair that was more of an expensive clothing rack.
You know, I actually bought these on eBay.
Wait, are you Kitty Sell Stuff from Brooklyn?
Okay, quiet, please.
Find what you love, sell what you don't. eBay. Things people love.
Hi, I'm Johnny Erickson Tata, and you're invited to the 12th annual Walk with Enoch, a fun-filled event led by my friend Enoch, a 14-year-old boy who lives with autism. Join us June 27th from 9 to 1 p.m. at the Ability 360 indoor track. You'll help special needs families find rest and renewal at our Johnny and Friends family retreats. Come walk with us. Visit johnnyandfriends.org/walk for details.
When a heart stops, the clock starts. You are the first responder until help arrives. In that moment, 4 minutes equals brain damage. 6 minutes equals too late in an emergency. The first responder is you. We need you. Will you be ready? Learn CPR. Visit heart.org/nation. That's heart.org/nation.
It's the Lerner and Rowe one call, that's all call of the day. If you're looking for a full service law firm, just make one call, that's all. 602-977-1900. Lerner and Rowe, voted Arizona's best law firm.
And I think what you're going to see is Andrea has been on this board to bring hockey back to the NHL. I think you're going to see Shane in the next several months being the face of that movement, trying to bring hockey back in front of the camera and behind the scenes. I think its focus now will completely shift to bringing hockey back to Arizona.
How about that?
I hope he's right.
Me too.
Yeah.
Steve Peters.
Yep.
ESPN producer, telestrator. He's getting ready for Game 7 tonight. Montreal, Buffalo in Buffalo. And if trends are continuing, the Canadians should win this because the away teams
have been winning.
So, but yeah, Game 7 tonight. That is what's on tap as we get closer to some games tonight. So we got a lot going on tonight. As what's on tap, which is sponsored by Bud Light, easy to drink, easy to enjoy, the official partner of Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B at all 5 Twin Peaks locations. So again, Sabres, Canadians, Game 7 will get underway on TBS here at 4:30, and the winner will advance to take on Carolina. We'll take on Carolina in the Stanley Cup Finals, who have been sitting around for a while waiting after they swept Philly. Game 1 of the Western Conference Finals is tonight at 5:30 at Oklahoma City, as the Spurs will be in town to take on the Thunder. That one will be on ESPN and ABC, so that's good. Well, that's good to see there. And then the Eastern Conference Finals with the Knicks and the Cavs will get on Wednesday. So
can I just say this? I watched the game last night, and it was on Prime. And it was Prime's last game, okay, of their contract. All the rest now are on nationally, on regular TV. So at the end of the broadcast, Steve Nash is there, Dirk Nowitzki, Udonis Haslem. They're all there, and they called the entire crew that worked all of their telecasts into the studio so they could give them applause on camera. And there's probably about 30 people, maybe 40 people that
behind the
in.
scenes.
Yep, behind the scenes to make that work. And it was great. And I just thought, look, first off, I thought Prime did a good job. I liked what they did as far as their pre and halftime and post-game shows as well. I thought they were entertaining, had some humor in them. And so from that standpoint, I thought Prime acquitted themselves extremely well in their first year of broadcasting NBA games.
Yeah, give them credit.
Yeah.
I spent a lot of money to be able to do that. So
yeah, they did.
Glad you thought that they did a good job.
They did.
I really didn't pay attention to that. Typically when I'm watching these games, I don't have the volume on. I'm usually at a place where they don't have the volume on.
Okay.
So I don't get to see that.
Okay, that's fair.
But I'll take your word for it that they did a good job.
They did.
D-backs lead story of the night, of course, the Giants are in town. Robbie Ray, Zach Gallen little pitcher's duel, and we'll hope that Zach Gallen can turn it around tonight at home. And that broadcast will be on 98.7 FM, so you'll be able to watch that. So good stuff there. But that'll get started around 6:40. Yeah. 6:40. Of course, the D-backs coming off that 2 of 3 series win at Coors.
They had to have that. They absolutely have to. And to be honest with you, they have to be able to win this series as well. Look, the Giants are a dumpster fire. Everybody knows it. Yeah. And you have to capitalize on weaker teams, because when you get matched up against the Dodgers and against the Padres, and then you have to go east and play against Philadelphia and those teams in Atlanta, those teams that are all stacked together for that wild card spot, you have to win when the opportunity presents itself, when you are playing lesser talent. And the Giants are definitely lesser talent.
Hey, do remind you, tomorrow, our friends over at Twin Peaks, it's a customer appreciation day at all 5 locations. They're doing these great burger and fries specials. It's a really big deal for them. They do it each and every year. It's called Customer Appreciation Day. So check it out, Twin Peaks. Of course, Bud Light, Michelob Ultra, and those 29-degree drafts. So good stuff there. And it's hard to believe Memorial Day weekend is coming up.
Yeah.
And they're doing a huge red and white brew.
Wow.
Yeah.
I like that.
So that's kind of neat. So, and all the profits, or at least some of the profits, are going to the tunnel to Towers.
Oh, yeah.
Which I think is cool there. So,
hey, we're going to be Twin Peaks Tempe Thursday.
Yeah.
That'll be fun.
That's fun. Yeah. Have you ever been there?
Once. You invited me, and then when I got there, you left.
Yeah, I do remember that. I know I didn't stay and have a beer for you.
No, you didn't. No. No, I was highly disappointed.
Were you really? I don't even think they sell those little ones anymore. They used to call those I don't remember what they used to call those. What they used to call those, lads? You used to drink them. Those little ones, they're like the baby drafts.
Mini shots.
I have no clue. I prefer the big, tall ones. What are they, 22 ounces?
Yeah.
32 maybe?
If I drank a 22-ounce beer, you'd have to carry me out.
Are you serious?
I
You
am
that much of a lightweight?
You can do it, Jimmy.
I cannot, man. I cannot.
Let's try it.
Yeah.
We'll do it one
We'll start at 1 o'clock on Thursday at the Tempe.
All right.
Twin Peaks, and see how long you can go.
Yeah.
1 beer an hour. You can have 3 by the end of the show.
I can't drink 3 beers. I just can't. I'm lucky. Just
you always been that way?
Yeah. I told you in college they
save some money.
Well, no, in college they nicknamed me the puker. I barfed on everybody at every party I went to. I can't hold it.
So something to be proud of. To let everybody here in Phoenix know that's Jimmy B, the barfer. Hey, we'll do it again tomorrow. If you missed anything, make sure you just download the Arizona Sports app. You can go to rockandmanuch.com. We've got a big promotion going on with Twin Peaks with the World Cup, so you want to check that out at rockandmanuch.com.
Progressive's accident response can detect and send help when you